Chapter 353. I finally found you. A middle-aged man in his 30s, with a square face and bright eyes, flew in front of Fu Yue. He was a level 2 beast king and was wearing a dark blue martial arts suit. He looked at her coldly and said coldly, "Peerless king." Fu Yue's face turned even paler when she felt the aura of the man in the blue robe. She felt a chill from head to toe. She had never imagined that her and Yi Qinfeng's luck would be so bad. When Yi Qinfeng was in danger, they would encounter a peerless king realm expert. How dare he? Is the ancient heavenly thunder formation something he can break? The man in the blue robe looked at the ancient array and smirked. But it's good. I don't have to kill him. But you. The blue-robed man's scorching gaze swept up and down Fu Yue's seductive body. He said maliciously, "If you can serve me well, maybe I'll spare your life if I'm in a good mood. Don't come over." Fu Yue quickly took out her low-grade celestial weapon, Blood Fiend Battle Blade, and injected her soul power into the celestial battle armor to activate its strongest defense. She was ready to fight to the death. A low-grade celestial weapon and battle armor. Feeling the defense of the Blood Fiend Battle Blade and the celestial battle armor, the man in the blue robe was stunned. He never thought that Fu Yue, a mere 4th-grade heavenly beast immortal, would have a set of celestial weapons that he did not have. The heavens are really good to me. Not only did they give me a peerless beauty, but they also gave me a set of celestial weapons. This trip is really worth it. The man in the blue robe laughed and said arrogantly. He approached the pale-faced Fu Yue, who was in despair. Sky-splitting blade art, splitting heaven and earth. Seeing the man in the blue robe approaching, Fu Yue gritted her teeth and merged with her spiritual beast, Green Sky Rock. She activated the bloodline of the Green Sky Rock and slashed at the man in the blue robe. Blade Force. Sensing that Fu Yue's blade was filled with the power of the blade, the man in the blue robe revealed a trace of surprise. He gently waved his arm and formed a dense wave of water ripples, shattering Fu Yue's killing blow. Void-shattering blade technique, void-shattering blade. The Sky Splitter slash was easily shattered by the blue-robed man. Fu Yue gritted her teeth and continued to attack. Billowing soul power and blade force merged into the Sky Splitter saber. A blade ray that seemed to cut through the void slashed down viciously towards the blue-robed man. This move is not bad, but it's a pity that you're too weak. The man in the blue robe smiled slightly. He stretched out 2 fingers and pinched the void, directly breaking Fu Yue's void-shattering saber ray. He easily broke her strongest move. "Little beauty, I advise you not to resist. Be obedient and I might be gentler. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless." The blue-robed man looked at the pale and weak Fu Yue as if he was looking at his prey. It was as if she was already in his bag. "I'm afraid you won't have the chance." Just as Fu Yue was deep in despair, a domineering voice rang out. A huge gap suddenly appeared in the ancient array that was surging with wild thunder. Wearing the heavenly lightning battle armor, his entire body was covered in lightning. His eyes were like stars as he looked down on the world. Yi Qinfeng walked over with heavy steps. With every step he took, the domineering aura on his body became sharper. It was as if the world was under his control. How is this possible? How can he release such a terrifying aura? Feeling Yi Qinfeng's aura growing stronger, the man in the blue robe's expression changed drastically. It was as if a huge mountain was pressing down on his body, causing his breathing to become rapid. "Tell me, what's the secret here?" Yi Qinfeng stomped on the ground and walked majestically in front of the man in the blue robe, who looked as if he was facing a great enemy. He questioned loudly, "Damn it, don't try to act mysterious with me." The man in the blue robe's pupils constricted. A huge, colorful spider appeared on his body. When he merged with his spirit beast, the increasing soul power dissipated Yi Qinfeng's aura. Extreme Snow Palm. As he struck out with his palm, a large amount of soul energy gushed out of his body and instantly gathered into a large hand formed from ice. It froze the void as it struck towards Yi Qinfeng. Chengfeng, be careful. He is a true, peerless king. Fu Yue, who had dodged to the side, sensed the terror of the extreme snow palm. She was so frightened that she turned pale. Just a second-grade reverse beast king. Yi Chenfeng sneered. 5-sword Dao pattern shot out of his body and tore through all obstacles. They pierced through the extreme snow palm and slashed toward the man in the blue robe like 5 rays of light. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. 5 streaks of blood splattered. The man in the blue robe was careless and couldn't dodge in time. The 5-sword Dao patterns broke through his defense. A large amount of blood spurted out of his body like a fountain. Could it be that Chengfeng really has the ability to kill a peerless king? Seeing the scene before her, Fu Yue's eyes widened. Her mouth was slightly agape. Her incomparably cold face was filled with disbelief. She fell into a daze. Sword type Dao pattern. You have actually comprehended 5 sword Dao patterns. Covering his bleeding body, the man in the blue robe was also stunned by Yi Chunfeng's shocking strength. He couldn't believe that Yi Chunfeng, who was only a 6th-grade mystic beast ancestor, had comprehended 5 mysterious sword Dao patterns. Tell me, who are you people? Yi Chunfeng looked arrogantly at the man in the blue robe who was bleeding profusely. He didn't allow any resistance. Damn it, go to hell. The man in the blue robe didn't dare to underestimate Yi Chunfeng anymore. With a roar, a flowing water halo appeared in his hand. The supreme-grade blue moon curve blade, which was a blue moon curve blade, appeared in his hand. Icicle sky-breaking strike. The man in the blue robe slashed at the void. A bone-chilling cold air gushed out of the blue moon curve blade like a torrential river. It turned into icicles that filled the sky and slashed at Yi Chunfeng layer by layer. Thunder light flash. The icicles that tore through the air slashed down. Yi Chunfeng didn't take it head-on. Lightning flashed under his feet like a bolt of lightning. He dodged the man in the blue robe's sure-kill attack and appeared beside him. Black heavenly flames, burn! Yi Chunfeng opened his mouth. The compressed black heavenly flames flew out and hit the man in the blue robe, who couldn't dodge in time. In the next moment, the black heavenly flames exploded. The black flames were strange and enchanting. It burned the void with a sizzling sound and swallowed the man in the blue robe. No, heavenly flames. How can you subdue heavenly flames? After being swallowed by the black heavenly flames, the man in the blue robe was terrified. He kept releasing cold air to weaken the black heavenly flames. He wanted to escape. However, the power of the black flame heavenly fire was too terrifying. His resistance was pale and powerless, and his body's defenses were constantly being disintegrated. Soon, his entire body was burning, and large patches of flesh and blood melted. He was in so much pain that he howled in agony and kept rolling on the ground. So strong. I didn't expect that even a level 2 defiant Beast King couldn't withstand the black heavenly flames. The power of the black heavenly flames was far beyond Yi Chunfeng's expectations. Looking at the man in the blue robe who was on the verge of death, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. Tell me the secret of this place and your identity. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng stored the black heavenly flames into the chaos divine wood. He looked at the man in the blue robe who was on the verge of death and asked coldly, "Just kill me. I won't say anything even if I die." The man in the blue robe said stubbornly, "In that case, I'll fulfill your wish." With that, Yi Chunfeng appeared behind the man in the blue robe. He used the soul-devouring tactic and swallowed the man's spiritual beast. He ended the man's life and the death chi that permeated his body. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 354. The Land of Life and Death. Chunfeng, you really killed him. Fu Yue didn't know how to describe her feelings after seeing Yi Chen-feng break the blue-robed man's neck. She felt as if she didn't know Yi Chen-feng anymore. Yi Chen-feng had given her too much of a shock. Just a second-rank reverse Beast King. Yi Chen-feng smiled faintly, not caring at all. Then, he searched Xiao Qian's charbody and found a dim, severely damaged universe ring. Break! The God-Eater brain's power seeped into the spatial ring and easily broke the restrictions. Why is this person so poor? Yi Chen-feng furrowed his brows slightly. He discovered that there were no treasures in the blue-robed man's universe ring that piqued his interest. There were only a dozen or so high-grade soul crystals, and there were no inherited soul arts or soul skills. Yi Chen-feng revealed a disappointed expression. This is... Suddenly, Yi Chen-feng found a sheepskin scroll with a large number of formations sealed within it. He immediately used the power of the God-Eater brain to break the formation and open the scroll. There's nothing. Yi Chen-feng frowned as he looked at the empty parchment scroll. There was not a single picture or word on it. This shouldn't be. This scroll has soul power fluctuations. Why is it empty? Do I need blood to open it? After thinking for a while, Yi Chen-feng bit his finger and squeezed out a large amount of blood onto the sheepskin scroll. Immediately, Yi Chen-feng felt the soul force undulations from the sheepskin scroll become stronger and stronger, and an extremely complicated roadmap appeared. As expected, this sheepskin scroll has been sealed. It needs fresh blood to undo the seal. Looking at the map, Yi Chen-feng revealed a faint smile and said, "Senior sister, we are pretty lucky. This person really has a complete treasure map. It looks like we have a chance to obtain the great fortuitous encounter here. Who are you? How did you get my Ice Palace's inheritance map?" Just as Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue were gathered together to study the map, a large amount of spirit energy suddenly surged out from the sheepskin scroll. It gathered and formed an old face. It looked at Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue with hostility and questioned in a deep voice. "Ice Palace. I didn't expect the mysterious force behind this map to be the absolute overlord of the North Sea State, the 6th-rank Ice Palace." Fu Yue had heard of the Ice Palace before. She knew that they were an extremely powerful force, second only to the Misty Mountain. "Would you believe me if I said I found it?" Yi Chen-feng quickly controlled the God-Eater brain to memorize the map and said coldly, "Since you don't want to tell the truth, you can all die." The old face let out a roar and turned into an extremely terrifying soul force. Like a violent wave, it bombarded Yi Chen-feng and the young man. "Senior sister, be careful." Yi Chen-feng's body flashed slightly as he shielded Fu Yue, whose face had turned pale behind him. He allowed the terrifying spiritual energy to enter his mind. "No, what is this? What is in your mind?" The old soul was about to tear apart Yi Chen-feng's soul when a terrifying vortex appeared and crushed the old soul and swallowed it. Chen-feng, how are you? Are you okay? Don't scare me." Looking at the unusually tall figure in front of her, Fu Yue panicked. She grabbed Yi Chen-feng's arm and called out softly, afraid that something would happen to him. "Senior sister, you're hurting me." After controlling the God-Eater brain to swallow the old soul from the scroll, Yi Chen-feng turned around and looked at Fu Yue's concerned eyes. He smiled and said, You really okay?" Looking at the unscathed Yi Chen-feng, Fu Yue was so shocked that her mouth was wide open. She stuttered, "I'm really okay. That kind of trash soul can't hurt me," Yi Chen-feng said with a smile. Trash soul. The moment the old man's soul attacked, Fu Yue felt as if she was a lone boat facing the waves. She felt as if she could be torn apart at any time. A strong sense of helplessness rose in her heart. Such a terrifying soul turned into trash in Yi Chen's mouth. Changed. Pervert. Other than the word pervert, Fu Yue didn't know how else to describe Yi Chen-feng. Chen-feng, the treasure map in the sheepskin scroll, disappeared. Fu Yue took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in her heart. Suddenly, she realized that the map on the scroll had disappeared. "It's okay. I've already memorized the treasure map. If it's gone, then it's gone," Yi Chen-feng said lightly. "What? You memorized such a complicated map in such a short time?" Fu Yue sucked in a breath of cold air. She looked at Yi Chen-feng as if she was looking at a monster. She muttered in her heart, "Big change, pervert. Senior sister, come with me. We'll leave this place through the black hole gate in the ancient array." As he spoke, 10 sword Tao patterns surged out of his body. He tore a hole in the ancient heavenly thunder array and led Fu Yue into it. Through the black hole gate in the center of the ancient array, they left this dead and dark space and came to a place where birds were chirping and flowers were fragrant. It was like a paradise on earth. It's so beautiful. How can there be such a beautiful place in this world? Looking at the layers of verdant mountains in front of her, filled with light and clouds, Fu Yue's eyes lit up. She was mesmerized by the beautiful scenery in front of her. "Senior sister, the scene you're seeing might be fake." Yi Chenfeng's deep eyes flickered with a large amount of soul light. With the help of the God-Eater brain, he saw another scene. The faint silver light, the bleak and desolate skeletons, and the broken stone tablets. This was a burial ground. The extremity of life is death, and the extremity of death is life. There are actually two extremes of life and death here. Yi Chenfeng frowned as he looked at the burial ground in front of him. He increasingly felt that everything here was not simple. It was as if there was a huge secret hidden here. "Fake? You're saying that everything here is fake?" Fu Yue's strength was limited. She did not have the God-Eater brain, so she could not see through the two extremes of life and death. Yi Chenfeng nodded and slowly walked to the bottom of the 1,000-meter-tall waterfall. He blasted a punch at the center of the waterfall and cut off the entire waterfall. In the next moment, the power of the God-Eater brain exploded in his mind and blasted into the violently fluctuating waterfall. Soon, the waterfall disappeared like the Milky Way falling to the ground. The beautiful picturesque scene was also wrinkled, revealing its true appearance. "Chenfeng, what exactly is this scene?" Looking at the protruding bones, graveyard, and stone tablets, Fu Yue's beautiful eyes widened as she asked, "If I'm not mistaken, this is the place of two extremes of life and death. It's a place of great evil. I'm afraid that a great evil is suppressed here." Yi Chenfeng had a good understanding of the place of two extremes of life and death through the God-Eater brain. Looking at the place of great evil in front of him, he could not help but want to retreat. A place of great evil. Fu Yue, who had a strong sense of uneasiness in her heart, said, "Since this place is so dangerous, why don't we leave here quickly?" After hesitating for a moment, Yi Chenfeng gave up the idea of exploring this place of great evil. He was going to wait until he was strong enough to come back. Just as they were about to leave, two spatial rifts suddenly appeared. The white-veiled woman and a one-armed man with a gloomy aura from head to toe appeared, blocking their path. He only had one arm, and his eyes were ashen. Mobile reading site, book address. To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 355. The wrath of God's punishment could destroy the world. "I finally found you." The one-armed man looked at Yi Chenfeng and Fu Yue coldly and said with murderous intent, "You guys actually have the ability to kill the second guardian. I've really underestimated your means." Yi Chenfeng didn't expect to encounter the peerless beast tamers from the Ice Palace. His face instantly darkened. These two were obviously stronger than the blue-robed man, especially the one-armed man who had reached the third level of the beast tamer realm. He posed a threat to Yi Chenfeng. "Sword puppet, protect senior sister Fu." Yi Chenfeng was afraid that he would be distracted during the fight. He immediately summoned the sword puppet and ordered it to protect Fu Yue. "A peerless beast tamer realm puppet. I was wondering how you guys could kill the second guardian. It turns out that you have the puppet to protect you. However, although your puppet is powerful, it's useless against us. Just accept your death obediently," the one-armed man said with a gloomy face. Murderous intent shot out from his dead eyes. "It's not certain who will die." Yi Chenfeng pointed the middle-grade celestial artifact, the Titanic sword, at the two of them and said disdainfully, "You're courting death. The one-armed man saw that Yi Chanfeng had the guts to point the tip of the sword at him. Suddenly, a burst of anger exploded in his chest. A black ape emerged from his body and roared at Yi Chanfeng. The moment the one-armed man merged with the black ape, a pale red, three-tailed ice mink also appeared behind the white-veiled woman. The two of them wanted to kill Yi Chanfeng with lightning speed and seize the sword puppet, the Titanic sword. Roar! When the one-armed man and the white-veiled woman merged with their spiritual beasts, a loud dragon roar sounded. The double-headed blood dragon king, which was more than 3,000 meters long and covered in thick dragon scales, emerged from Yi Chanfeng's body. It emitted a terrifying dragon aura and hovered in the air. Sensing the dragon aura emitted by the double-headed blood dragon king, the one-armed man and the white-veiled woman's aura weakened significantly. Their expressions changed drastically. Dragon. This person's spiritual beast is actually a double-headed blood dragon. When did such a person appear in the North Sea state? After fusing with the two-headed blood dragon king, Yi Chanfeng's strength soared to the level of a Tier 2 reverse beast king. His powerful aura caused the one-armed man and his companion to reveal deep shock. They had never seen anyone who could fuse with a spiritual beast and increase their strength by so much. This person is a little strange. Let's attack together and kill him quickly, the one-armed man warned. Then the interspatial ring on his finger flashed, and a bone-white long blade appeared on his finger. Then he slashed down. The bone-white blade light overlapped with the blade shadow and slashed toward Yi Chanfeng. 8 Devils Azura Art. Although Yi Chanfeng had the strength to defeat a rank 3 defiant beast king, he didn't dare to be careless when facing 2 kings at the same time. He condensed 3 more killing halos to increase his offensive power. 4 Style of Slaughter, Cutting Stars. After condensing the 3 killing halos, Yi Chanfeng wielded the Titanic Fault Heavenly Sword and charged forward. A meteor-like sword light directly shattered the white saber light. Silent Saber Slash. The one-armed man's attack was broken, but it didn't affect him. He lightly tapped the ground with the tip of his foot, and his entire body flew into the air like a large bird. A saber light carrying the power of despair and silence descended from the sky, cutting through the void and slashing toward Yi Chanfeng. When the one-armed man launched his sure-kill attack, the white-veiled woman also made her move. Her hands moved rapidly, condensing into a powerful hand imprint that emitted red light and a phantom of a wolf. It pressed toward Yi Chanfeng. Blood Wolf Phantom. The hand imprint pressed down from the sky and transformed into a blood wolf. It bared its sharp fangs and pounced toward Yi Chanfeng. The terrifying power made Yi Chanfeng's breathing quicken. 4th Style of Slaughter, Residual Blood. Yi Chanfeng immediately used residual blood to meet the attacks of the one-armed man and the white-veiled woman. With a slash of his sword, layers of thick blood chi formed in the void. It penetrated the air like a rain of blood and heavily collided with the 2 soul skills. Rumble. The 3 soul skills collided, and a thunderous explosion immediately sounded. The ferocious impact caused the surrounding ground and stone tablets to explode. The surging energy collided in the air for 3 breaths of time. The silent saber slash penetrated the residual blood sword light and quickly slashed toward Yi Chanfeng. Go to hell. The one-armed man revealed a cruel smile, as if he could already foresee Yi Chanfeng's fate. However, in the next moment, when the remaining power of the deathly silent saber slash landed on Yi Chanfeng's body, it did not cause any damage to his body. The terrifying saber might was completely blocked by the heavenly thunder battle armor that Yi Chanfeng was wearing. Mid-grade heavenly lightning battle armor. Seeing Yi Chanfeng's body in the heavenly lightning battle armor flickering with lightning, the one-armed man and the white-veiled woman were shocked. They didn't expect that Yi Chanfeng not only had a mid-grade heaven sword, but also a mid-grade heavenly lightning battle armor. Where did this person come from? The one-armed man and the white-veiled woman were shocked by Yi Chanfeng's identity and background. Without a powerful background, it was impossible for him to have such a treasure. For slaughter styles, eternal night. While the two of them were shocked, a pitch-black sword light soared into the sky. It fused the power of slaughter and 1,500,000 kilograms of force, as if it wanted to split the heavens and earth and slash toward the two of them. In that instant, the heavens and earth were pitch black. All the light was swallowed by the eternal night sword light, and only the invincible divine sword was left. The one-armed man and the white-veiled woman felt a strong sense of danger from the sudden attack of the eternal night sword light. They immediately used their powerful soul skills to block it. Rumble. An earth-shattering explosion sounded, and a tidal wave of destructive power violently collided in the air. The deafening sound was like the roar of a god, and the entire void shook violently. Billowing winds swept in all directions. Puff puff. The white-veiled woman was hit by the aftershock. Her body trembled, and her defenses were immediately shattered. A large amount of blood spurted out from her mouth. The white veil on her face was also torn, revealing a sad but beautiful face. The one-armed man was strong enough to withstand the aftershock of the eternal night sword light. However, the blood in his body was still churning violently, and his face paled. Fury of divine punishment. While the two of them were injured, the black skyfire, ancient extreme purple lightning, and ancient profound ice surged out of Yi Qinfeng's body and quickly gathered to form a destructive ball of light. It crushed the void and blasted toward the two of them with lightning speed. Dodge! The one-armed man saw the space where the fury of divine punishment streaked across, and a large area of distortion appeared. He smelled a strong sense of danger, and his face changed drastically as he shouted. Just as the two of them dodged, the destructive ball of light exploded. It was as if millions of lightning bolts had exploded, resounding across the horizon. Boom! An extremely terrifying energy storm filled the void, destroying everything in the world. It directly swallowed the two of them, who couldn't dodge in time. A large area of distortion appeared in the void within a radius of a few kilometers, and cracks appeared in the void. This terrifying attack really came from Changfeng. Looking at the destructive power released by the wrath of God's punishment, Fu Yuiwei, who had dodged far away from the impact, was completely stunned. Shock, fear, and excitement filled her beautiful face. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's shocking attack power, Fu Yuiwei completely believed Yi Qinfeng's words. Could it be that what he said was true? He really has the strength to kill a peerless king. The destructive storm became more and more intense. The one-armed man and the woman in the white veil were like kites with a broken string and were sent flying out of the destructive storm. Large amounts of blood spurted out of their mouths as they fell heavily on the ground, creating two deep craters. Enduring the destructive attack released by the fury of divine punishment, the two of them were severely injured. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 356. Heavenly Treasure, White Snake Mark, it's over. The two of you can die now. Yi Qinfeng summoned his golden rock wings and pierced through the destructive storm. He appeared above the two and shot out 8 sword Dao patterns at lightning speed. He wanted to end their lives while they were heavily injured. Icy light shield. At the critical moment, a chilling light emerged from the one-armed man's body. It condensed into a huge, chilling ice light shield and blocked in front of him. It forcefully blocked the attack of the 4 sword Dao patterns. The white-veiled woman didn't have a protective talisman like the icy light shield. The 4 sword Dao patterns pierced through her body. Her voluptuous body exploded, and blood splattered everywhere. As expected of a 6th-grade sect. Their foundation is indeed extraordinary. Yi Qinfeng looked at the ice light shield that blocked the sword Dao pattern with some shock. His figure flashed and appeared beside the severely injured and dying white-veiled woman. Then, he pressed his right hand on her head. Soul-devouring art, devour. A powerful devouring power surged into her mind. As she screamed in fear, it devoured her spiritual beast and ended her life. Then, it took her universe ring. Junior Sister Bing. Seeing the white-veiled woman die, the one-armed man's eyes turned blood-red. He emitted a monstrous blood aura from his body, causing the air to tremble violently. Burning your blood aura? Is it useful? Yi Chunfeng laughed coldly as his soul power surged. He transformed into a zigzagging bolt of lightning and unleashed a tidal wave of attacks on the one-armed man. Each wave of attacks was stronger than the last, completely suppressing the one-armed man. Buzz. Seeing that the one-armed man couldn't withstand Yi Chunfeng's ferocious attacks, the chaotic void trembled, and another spatial crack appeared. The Ice Palace's Grand Elder, a Class 4 defiant Beast King in white, arrived in time. Grand Elder, save me. As soon as the white-robed elder appeared, the one-armed man immediately cried for help. The white-robed old man looked at the one-armed man who couldn't even defend himself. His eyebrows twitched slightly as he revealed a shocked expression. He was shocked that Yi Chunfeng's attack could actually suppress the one-armed man who was a level 3 reverse Beast King. With a violent shake of his red soul wings, the white-robed old man turned into a ripple in the air and appeared beside Yi Chunfeng. Waves of powerful airflow were attracted by the white-robed old man's body and crazily rushed into his body. 10,000 elephant flowing cloud palm. With a palm strike, the space in front of the white-robed old man collapsed slightly. The rolling airflow turned into a huge hand that covered the sky. It was as if 10,000 elephants were running wildly, crushing towards Yi Chunfeng. 4th level Defiant Beast King. The moment the white-robed elder attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately felt the pressure. With his current strength and foundation, although he could defeat an ordinary level 3 reverse Beast King, he was definitely not a match for a level 4 reverse Beast King. With no other choice, Yi Chunfeng could only give up on the idea of killing the one-armed man. Using Lightning Flash, he quickly dodged the 10,000 elephant flowing cloud palm attack. Rumble. The ground behind Yi Chunfeng collapsed under the 10,000 elephant flowing cloud palm attack, forming a huge crater more than 10 meters deep. What a terrifying attack. This person is no ordinary level 4 reverse Beast King. Seeing the power of the 10,000 elephant flowing cloud palm attack, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but become serious. First Elder, Junior Sister Bing, has already been killed by him. Quickly kill him and avenge Junior Sister Bing. The one-armed man who had luckily escaped death looked angrily at Yi Chunfeng, gnashing his teeth as he spoke. What? 4th sister is dead. Hearing this news, a surge of anger exploded in the white-robed old man's chest. His turbid eyes shone with a terrifying light. Not only did Junior Sister Bing die at his hands, but Second Protector also died at his hands. The one-armed man continued. Who are you? Why did you kill the elders and protectors of my ice palace? The white-robed old man's eyes flickered with uncontrollable anger. He was like an angry lion, staring at Yi Chunfeng and questioning him. You don't deserve to know who I am. Yi Chunfeng replied coldly. He immediately ordered the sword puppet to bring Fu Yuiwei out of the encirclement. Since you don't want to talk, you can go to hell. The white-robed old man's face darkened when he saw the sword puppet bringing Fu Yuiwei out of the encirclement. An ancient seal the size of a fist with a white snake coiled around it appeared on his body. Heavenly treasure. This person has a heavenly treasure, and it's a middle-grade heavenly treasure. Seeing the ancient seal that appeared on the white-robed old man's body, Yi Chunfeng's eyes narrowed. He immediately sensed a strong sense of danger. Although this was Yi Chunfeng's first time seeing a heavenly treasure, he knew the difference between a heavenly treasure and a heavenly treasure. It was extremely difficult to refine a heavenly treasure. It could attack on its own, and the power it contained exceeded that of a heavenly treasure of the same level. It was the treasure of some sacred grounds. It's your fortune to be able to die under the white snake seal of my ice palace. With that, the white-robed old man controlled the white snake seal to attack Yi Chunfeng. Rumble. Under the white snake seal, the space within a 1-mile radius was distorted. The terrifying power caused the air to explode. The ground under Yi Qinfeng's feet collapsed. It's indeed a middle-grade heavenly treasure. It's so powerful. Under the attack of the white snake seal, Yi Qinfeng had difficulty breathing. His expression changed slightly. He sensed a strong sense of danger. As the white snake seal's speed was too fast, the entire space was distorted. Yi Qinfeng, who had nowhere to run, could only face the attack with all his might. 7 swords of judgment, thunder devour. 10 sword Dao patterns surged out of his body, transforming into a giant thunder sword that could split the heavens and earth. It crashed onto the white snake seal that was crashing down. Boom, boom, boom. The giant thunder sword crashed onto the white snake seal. Unable to withstand the destructive power of the white snake seal, it broke into pieces. The powerful explosive force caused the void to distort. Sword Dao, first heaven, Dao skill. The white-robed old man raised his eyebrows, revealing a strong sense of shock. He didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so talented. He was only a mystic beast ancestor, but he had already comprehended the Sword Dao, which was difficult even for an absolute king. He had even cultivated it to the first heaven and mastered a terrifying Dao skill. This person must be eliminated. The white-robed old man made up his mind. He was determined to kill Yi Qinfeng to prevent future troubles. Go to hell. The moment Yi Qinfeng used Thunder Devour to clash with the white snake seal, the one-armed man, who had just suffered a great loss, took the risk to approach him. He wanted to take advantage of the situation to severely injure Yi Qinfeng. Lion King's roar. The moment the one-armed man attacked, a powerful sound wave was released from Yi Qinfeng's mouth. The sound wave bombarded the one-armed man's body at close range, causing his soul to tremble and his reaction to become slightly sluggish. Dragon's bloodline ignite. Soul-suppressing tablet. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng was multitasking. He ignited the thin dragon's bloodline in his body and released the soul-suppressing tablet that covered the sky, which smashed onto the one-armed man's body. PFFF. The one-armed man was attacked by the soul-suppressing tablet, which was filled with the power of a dragon. His soul skill was immediately shattered, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was sent flying by the soul-suppressing tablet, and his chest caved in. While the one-armed man was severely injured by Yi Qinfeng's burning dragon's bloodline, the giant thunder sword was also shattered by the white snake seal. It carried a powerful aftershock and smashed towards Yi Qinfeng. Golden Rock's bloodline, ignite. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng, who was enduring the destructive attack, ignited his Golden Rock's bloodline and activated his speed to the maximum. 10 sword Dao patterns surged out of his body and tore apart the destructive storm. He flew out and dodged the fatal attack of the white snake seal. PFFF. Yi Qinfeng might have dodged the frontal attack of the white snake seal, but he was still injured by the aftershock. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his meridians were damaged to varying degrees. After witnessing the terror of the white snake seal, Yi Qinfeng didn't dare to stay any longer. He quickly flapped his golden rock wings and escaped towards the land of life and death with extreme speed. Where do you think you're going? When the white-robed elder saw Yi Qinfeng breaking out and escaping, he let out a roar and flapped his red soul wings. He set off a hurricane and chased after Yi Qinfeng with all his strength. He was determined to kill Yi Qinfeng and seize the great secret on him. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 357. Be driven to a dead end. I wonder if I can kill this person with my life spirit technique. Yi Qinfeng drank a mouthful of the water of heavenly fate. While he was fleeing with all his might, he was constantly weighing the possibility of killing the white-robed old man. If he could kill the white-robed old man and obtain the white snake seal, Yi Qinfeng's foundation would become even deeper. However, after weighing the pros and cons, Yi Chunfeng gave up on the idea of burning his life soul and forcefully killing the white-robed elder. After all, the land of two extremes of life and death was abnormally dangerous. It hid a great secret, and it was too risky to engage in a life-and-death battle with the white-robed elder here. Let's explore this place first and see if there are any great opportunities. Yi Chunfeng decided inwardly. He continued to increase his flying speed, using the complex and illusory terrain of the two extremes of life and death to forcefully shake off the white-haired old man's pursuit. Very quickly, the white-robed old man who was chasing relentlessly lost track of Yi Chunfeng. This caused him to fly into a rage, and he was extremely furious. About 2 hours later, Yi Chunfeng successfully met up with the sword puppet, Fu Yue, who was hiding in a mass grave. "Chunfeng, are you all right?" Fu Yue looked at Yi Chunfeng's slightly pale face and asked with concern. "It's just a small injury. It won't get in the way." Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly as he consumed 2 Earth-rank soul pills to stabilize his injuries. Then, he said softly, "That's right. Senior sister, this Qiankuan ring is for you. You might be able to use the things inside." Yi Chunfeng gave the Qiankuan ring to Fu Yue. "So many dawn. This is a heaven-ranked soul pill." When Fu Yue took the dark purple Qiankuan ring that was embedded with a beautiful purple gem, she released her soul power and was surprised to find that there were close to 100 Earth-ranked spirit pills inside. There was even a heaven-ranked spirit pill. "Senior sister, your current strength is still too weak. These medicinal pills just so happen to be of use to you. With these medicinal pills, it's sufficient for you to charge into the high-rank Dark Beast Ancestor Realm." Looking at Fu Yue's excited expression, Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, "Chunfeng, thank you." Fu Yue gently bit her rosy lips, her heart filled with mixed feelings. "You've helped me so much, I really don't know how to repay you. Senior sister, you are too polite. Perhaps one day, I will need your help." Yi Chunfeng said half-jokingly, "If there really comes a day where we have to fight against all the martial artists in the world, senior sister will fight by your side." Fu Yue took a deep breath and promised. "All right." Yi Chunfeng smiled. He was very touched. Yi Chunfeng rested for more than an hour in the mass grave and healed his wounds. After hesitating for a while, he decided to take the risk and go deeper to look for the great opportunity in the polar regions of life and death. The two extremes of life and death were extremely dangerous. Even though Yi Chunfeng had the map engraved in his mind, they still encountered many dangers and troubles. They killed a large number of evil souls and zombies. With the sword puppet's almost invincible defense, Yi Chunfeng fought his way through and brought Fu Yue to the deepest part of the polar regions of life and death. From afar, they saw a huge mountain range that was dark and eerie. It was filled with a thick aura of death. Above the mountain range, there was a formation seal that made Yi Chunfeng tremble. What a terrifying seal! The seal in this black mountain range is slowing down the flow of my soul power by almost half. As Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue slowly approached the eerie black mountain range, Yi Chunfeng felt the flow of his soul power in his body become slower and slower. His strength was greatly affected. Fu Yue, on the other hand, was in an even worse state. Her beautiful face was pale, and beads of sweat appeared on her forehead. Every step forward required a great deal of courage. "Chunfeng, there seems to be something very scary in the mountain range ahead. I think we shouldn't go any closer." Fu Yue, who was feeling uneasy and under great pressure, suggested, If I'm not wrong, there might be something very dangerous in the Black Mountain Range. We really don't need to take the risk." Although they didn't gain much in the polar regions of life and death, Yi Chunfeng smelled a strong sense of danger in the Black Mountain Range. After thinking for a while, he decided to wait until he reached a higher realm in the future to explore this place. After making the decision, Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue didn't stay for long. Just as they were about to turn back, the white-robed elder, the one-armed man, and a burly man with fiery red hair and explosive muscles appeared and blocked their path. "Let's see where you can run to this time." The white-robed elder looked at Yi Chen-feng coldly. The white snake seal appeared above his head and distorted a large area of space, ready to deal a fatal blow to Yi Chen-feng. What should we do, Chung-feng? Fu Yue's face paled as she looked at the white-robed elder and the other two men who were filled with killing intent. Charge into this black mountain range. Yi Chen-feng measured the strength of the white-robed elder and the other two men. He gritted his teeth and made a prompt decision. He summoned the golden rock wings and flew towards the black mountain range with Fu Yue. Chase, don't let them escape into the polar regions of life and death. The white-robed elder roared and turned into a red stream of light. He chased after Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue at an extremely fast speed. As they approached the black mountain range, the restrictive power in the space became stronger and stronger. Yi Chen-feng and the others were under great pressure. The flow of soul power in their bodies became slower and slower. 1,500,000 gene of strength explode. With his soul power suppressed, Yi Chen-feng immediately activated the 6 Meridian Divine Shield and exploded with shocking strength. He tore through the layers of heavy pressure and arrived at the foot of the Black Mountain Range. He saw a black hole that was flowing slowly like the mouth of a ferocious beast. It was filled with the aura of death and despair. Other than this strange black hole, the entire Black Mountain Range was shrouded in restrictive spells, making it impossible for anyone to enter. Whitesnake Seal attack. While Yi Chen-feng was hesitating, the white-robed elder who was hot on his heels immediately controlled the white snake seal to distort the void. He wanted to smash Yi Chen-feng's body into pieces. Let's fight. Yi Chen-feng knew that he would not be able to fight against 3 legendary kings who had a heavenly treasure. Even if he used the life spirit technique and transformed into a beast soul, he would not be able to fight back. Moreover, Fu Yue did not have the ability to protect herself. Yi Chen-feng gritted his teeth and rushed towards the strange black hole with Fu Yue in his arms. Oh no, he's going to enter the Death Ridge. The white-robed elder and the rest knew the truth about the Black Mountain Range. The Black Mountain Range was called the Death Ridge. It was also known as the Land of Death. It was said that even an Emperor-level expert would not be able to come out after entering it. It could be said that entering the Death Ridge was equivalent to entering hell. There was no chance of survival or hope. The white-robed old man and the others wanted to stop Yi Chen-feng, wanting to kill him and seize the treasures on his body. However, Yi Chen-feng's flying speed was too fast. They could only watch as Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue flew into the black hole and disappeared. After flying into the black hole with Fu Yue in his arms, Yi Chen-feng was immediately under immense pressure. Waves of spatial distortions swallowed the two of them and crushed their bodies. Senior sister, hang in there. Yi Chen-feng tightly hugged Fu Yue, who was trembling from head to toe as she endured the immense pressure. While activating the defense of the heavenly lightning battle armor, he also unleashed a force of 1,500,000 gene to withstand the crushing power of the tearing force. Time passed by slowly. Fu Yue's heavenly battle armor was deformed. Just as her body could not withstand the spatial distortions in the black hole and collapsed, beams of light appeared in the dark space tunnel. Qi in blood ignition. Yi Chen-feng gritted his teeth and quickly ignited his qi in blood ignition. He burst out with shocking strength and rushed out with Fu Yue in his arms. They entered the mysterious Death Ridge that was strong enough to trap an Emperor-level expert. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 358. Tao Will of Thunder. Damn it. We let them escape into the Death Ridge. What a waste of that kid's treasures. Entering the Death Ridge meant death. The white-robed elder and the other two could not help but feel pity for Yi Chen-feng's mid-grade celestial weapons and treasures. Sigh, maybe those treasures are destined not to be ours. It's just a pity for Junior Sister Bing and Second Guardian. Let's go. We'll go to the extreme of life and get the treasures there. Then, we'll leave this damn place." The white-robed elder sighed regretfully. He took out the treasure map and studied it for a while. Then, he, the one-armed man, and the red-haired man left the strange black mountain range. "Senior sister, how are you? Are you all right?" Yi Chen-feng hugged Fu Yue tightly. Her face was pale and blood was dripping from the corner of her mouth. "I'm fine. I'll be fine after some rest." Fu Yue, who was covered in blood, broke free from Yi Chen-feng's embrace and said weakly. Then, she consumed an earth-rank spirit pill and quickly recovered from her injuries. While Fu Yue was healing, Yi Chen-feng looked around the surroundings. He was surprised to find that the spatial passageway that connected to the outside world had disappeared. Could it be that the passageway was one way? One could only enter and not leave. Yi Chen-feng frowned and muttered to himself. His face was extremely ugly. With the passageway gone, Yi Chen-feng could only carefully explore the strange kernel. He found that the call was filled with thick death qi. If an ordinary person was affected by such a thick death qi, their body would slowly be eroded. After a long time, their cultivation realm would continuously fall. But to Yi Chen-feng, who cultivated the 8 Sha Azura technique, the thick death qi in the call was a great supplement. He absorbed it madly and condensed the 4th killing halo. Bones, there's so many bones scattered here. Before long, Yi Chen-feng, who was surrounded by death qi, saw a large number of bones and weapons scattered in the kernel. Many of the bones had been weathered and turned into ashes with a light step. Don't tell me this is the place where that ominous being is being suppressed. Yi Chen-feng muttered to himself with a frown as he sensed the aura of death coming from the kernel. The uneasiness in his heart grew stronger and stronger, and a chill ran down his spine. That weapon, have an artifact? Just as Yi Chen-feng was about to return to the mountain pass, he unexpectedly discovered a dust-covered saber. It seemed to be a heaven-tier saber. He immediately walked over. Just as Yi Chen-feng picked up the war saber, which was supposed to be incomparably hard, suddenly snapped. Yi Chen-feng's claw also left cracks on the saber's hilt. Phew, how could this be? Has this blade been corroded by time, or is there some unknown power here? Looking at the broken saber, Yi Chen-feng could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. He felt more and more that this call was mysterious and unfathomable. He somewhat regretted taking the risk to come here. At this moment, he could only rely on the heaven-defying God-Eater brain to help him find a way out of this place. Around 12 hours later, Fu Yue, who had absorbed an Earth-class soul elixir, recovered from her injuries. She continued to explore this mysterious call with Yi Chen-feng, but Fu Yue was too weak. Even with the protection of the heaven-tier battle armor, she still could not withstand the corrosion of the death aura in the kernel. Without a choice, Yi Chen-feng imparted the cultivation method of the 8 Sha Azura skill to Fu Yue and helped her comprehend it. He allowed her to condense the death aura that had corroded her body into a killing halo. There are words in front. Let's go take a look. Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue carefully advanced in the kernel suddenly. They noticed a line of vigorous and powerful words that were carved deep into the stone wall above a pile of white bones. I have been trapped in the Death Ridge for 3,000 years. I have exhausted my entire life, but because of my foolishness, I am unable to break the restriction and leave. It is lamentable. Before I die, I will carve my comprehension of the Thunder Tao pattern on the stone wall and pass it to a fated person, the Thunderpool King. 3,000 years. Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue took a deep breath. Their hearts were filled with astonishment. Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue might not have heard of the Thunderpool King's name, but judging from his long lifespan, he should be a peak-level monarch. Fu Yue was in despair when such a peak-level prodigy was trapped in the Death Ridge. Chen-feng, do you think we will die here as well? Fu Yue bit her lips tightly as she thought of her blood feud. Her voice was filled with unwillingness and despair. No, we will definitely be able to leave this place. Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and said resolutely. Really? Fu Yue lifted her head gently and looked into Yi Chen-feng's clear eyes as she asked. Really trust me? Yi Chen-feng nodded and assured her. After getting Yi Chunfeng's assurance, Fu Yue felt her tensed heart relax. Her pale face revealed a flower-like smile. Senior sister, the 10 thunder Tao patterns engraved on the stone wall are very precious. Why don't we cultivate here for a period of time before continuing our journey? The Death Ridge was filled with mysteries. In order to deal with any danger that might appear at any time, Yi Qinfeng was prepared to spend some time to comprehend the 10 Thunder Tao patterns and improve his strength. All right. Fu Yue also knew the preciousness of the Tao patterns. She nodded and sat separately with Yi Chunfeng at the stone wall to comprehend the 10 Thunder Tao patterns engraved on the stone tablet by the Thunderpool King. Fu Yue might have extraordinary talent and had comprehended the saber presence, but the Tao patterns were too profound. In addition, her soul spirit wasn't strong enough. It was very strenuous for her to comprehend the Thunder Tao patterns. In less than 15 minutes, Fu Yue felt a splitting headache and her soul spirit trembling. She had no choice but to give up. As for Yi Qinfeng, whose soul spirit had been tempered thousands of times, it wasn't strenuous at all. He directly directed the power of the God-Eater brain into the 10 Thunder Tao patterns to deduce and comprehend. Sai, the gap between me and Chengfeng is too big. Fu Yue looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was completely immersed in cultivation and didn't find it strenuous at all. She sighed softly in her heart. She took out an Earth-class soul elixir and swallowed it. She refined and absorbed it to break through to the 5th level of the heavenly beast immortal realm. As the days passed, Yi Qinfeng's understanding of the Thunder Tao pattern deepened under the God-Eater brain's powerful energy deduction. Large amounts of lightning formed around his body, circled around him, and flowed slowly. After a few days of cultivation, Fu Yue, who had refined 8 Earth-class soul elixirs, was on the verge of breaking through. But because she had consumed too many Earth-class soul elixirs, a large amount of elixir toxins had accumulated in her body. She couldn't break through the bottleneck and break through to the 5th level of the heavenly beast immortal realm. Her realm was affected by the elixir toxins and couldn't break through for a long time. But after absorbing a large amount of death aura, the 8 Sha Azura art successfully condensed the first killing halo, greatly increasing her attack power. Just as Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yue were cultivating under the stone wall for the 11th day, the Death Ridge suddenly fell into a riot. A powerful force was generated in the depths of the Death Ridge, causing the entire Death Ridge to tremble. What's wrong? What's happening in front? Feeling the ground trembling, Yi Qinfeng, who had comprehended 7 Thunder Tao patterns, opened his eyes and looked into the distance. He saw a black storm was generated in the depths of the Death Ridge. It swept across the heaven and earth, and the gray sky was throbbing. What a terrifying storm. What's in this Death Ridge? Why did it suddenly form a destructive storm? Yi Qinfeng looked into the distance with lingering fear. He looked at the surging black storm and muttered with a grave expression. The destructive storm lingered for half a day before gradually dissipating. The entire Death Ridge regained its tranquility. We have to improve our strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, we might really die here. The destructive storm didn't spread out. Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yue heaved a sigh of relief. They seized the limited time and continued to cultivate. After another 5 days, Fu Yue, who had consumed 13 Earth-class soul elixirs, finally broke through to the 5th level of the heavenly beast immortal realm. Not long after Fu Yue broke through, Yi Qinfeng finally comprehended the 10 Thunder Tao patterns on the stone wall with the help of the God-Eater brain's powerful deduction and comprehension ability. He comprehended the Thunder Tao will to the 1st level of heaven. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 359. One step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Lightning Tao intent, 1st level heaven. Yi Qinfeng opened his deep eyes. 10 thunder, Tao patterns shot out of his body and quickly transformed into a thunderstorm, a thunderstorm, a thunderstorm, a thunderstorm, and a thunderous beast. Go! With a thought, Yi Chunfeng rapidly evolved 10 lightning Tao patterns and violently bombarded the mountain wall in the distance. Instantly, lightning bolts wantonly, the earth shook and the mountain shook. The sturdy mountain wall was attacked by the 10 lightning Tao patterns and violently shook. Cracks constantly spread on the surface of the mountain wall. I wonder if with my current strength, I can fight a 4th grade Defiant Beast King head-on without using the Life Spirit technique. Seeing the destructive power of the 10 lightning Tao patterns, Yi Chunfeng revealed a satisfied smile. Chunfeng, you have comprehended 10 lightning Tao patterns. Seeing the shocking power of the 10 lightning Tao patterns, Fu Yue's eyes widened. She couldn't help but exclaim, even if it was a shocking genius, it would take at least a year to comprehend 1 lightning Tao pattern. But Yi Chunfeng only took 20 days to comprehend 10 lightning Tao patterns. Yi Chunfeng's cultivation talent was completely beyond Fu Yue's understanding. Yes, this is my first time coming into contact with lightning Tao patterns, so it took me a little longer. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Fu Yue, let's go, senior sister Fu. Let's continue to go deeper into this death ridge and see if we can find a way out. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. He looked at the depths of the death ridge that made him feel inexplicably uneasy. There were shocking secrets hidden in the depths of the death ridge. Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue moved forward carefully. As they went deeper into the death ridge, they felt that the spirit chi in the air was getting thinner and thinner, and the soul power in their bodies was flowing slower and slower. There were words on the stone wall in front. About an hour later, Yi Chunfeng accidentally discovered a line of vigorous writing on a stone wall where a large number of dark weeds were growing. I, the great Sun War Emperor, have cultivated for more than 4,000 years, yet I am unable to break through the realm that I have been pursuing for my entire life. Thus, I came to the 2 extremes of life and death in search of an opportunity to break through. Before I die, I will leave my low-grade Tao skill, the Great Sun Heavenly Fire Fist, which I created in my lifetime, on the stone wall and pass it down to the fated person. Battle Emperor, there's actually a Tao skill inheritance left behind by an Emperor-level powerhouse here. Fu Yue's eyes lit up when she saw the cultivation method of the Celestial Fire Fist on the stone wall. Senior sister, this dead ridge is full of mysteries. Let's cultivate here while looking for a way out. Yi Chunfeng also showed great interest in the Great Sun Heavenly Fire Fist and suggested. All right, Fu Yue nodded. She sat cross-legged under the stone wall with Yi Chunfeng and began to browse the cultivation method of the Great Sun Heavenly Fire Fist. The Great Sun Heavenly Fire Fist was an extremely tyrannical top-grade fist technique. When cultivated to the peak, the fist would be like the blazing sun that could shatter mountains and cut off torrents. However, the requirements to cultivate it were more stringent. One had to comprehend the Tao of fire or possess heavenly fire to activate it. Looking at the requirements to cultivate the Great Sun Heavenly Fire Fist, Fu Yue revealed a trace of a bitter smile. She knew that she was destined to have no fate with this Tao skill. Senior sister, don't be depressed. I'll pass on a set of heaven-ranked soul skills to you. Seeing Fu Yue's dejected expression, Yi Chunfeng took out the blood-slaughtering Sword King and gave it to Fu Yue. He had obtained the Cultivation Jade Scroll for the Blood Devil skill, a top-grade heaven-ranked soul skill. This blood-slaughtering technique is extremely powerful. When unleashed to the peak, its power is comparable to a low-grade Tao skill. If you can master it, you'll be able to jump ranks and kill a profound beast sect expert. Yi Chunfeng explained. Thank you. Receiving the blood-slaughtering technique Jade Scroll from Yi Chunfeng, Fu Yue's eyes revealed a complicated expression. She was proud and arrogant, and what she hated the most was to owe others favors. However, in the days that she was with Yi Chunfeng, she owed Yi Chunfeng too much, and she was unable to repay him. Sigh, I hope I can leave this place alive. Only then will I have a chance to repay Qingfeng's kindness to me. Otherwise, Fu Yue sighed softly in her heart. Using the corner of her eye, she glanced at Yi Qingfeng's chiseled side profile. Trying hard to get rid of all distracting thoughts, she began to cultivate the blood-slaughtering technique. Time passed day by day. When Yi Qingfeng and Fu Yue were cultivating the inheritance, the terrifying destructive storm appeared again and swept through the inner ridge. The heaven and earth changed drastically, and the sun was no longer visible. Another 10 days. It seems that the destructive storm in the inner ridge forms once every 10 days. Yi Qingfeng muttered to himself as he looked at the pitch-black storm in the distance. It was like an army of thousands of men and horses. Then, he calmed his mind and continued to cultivate with the help of the God-Eater brain's powerful deduction ability. About 13 days later, Yi Qingfeng successfully comprehended the low-grade Celestial Fire Fist with the help of the God-Eater brain. With a punch, the rolling waves of fire condensed into a domineering fiery red sun. The terrifying power was enough to injure a second-grade Defiant Beast King. Let's go, senior sister. Let's continue. Yi Qingfeng was very satisfied with the power of the Celestial Fire Fist. He stretched his body and continued to go deeper into the Death Ridge with Fu Yue. The Death Ridge had existed for countless years. Too many amazing talents, peerless overlords, and ancient kings have been trapped here. They had left behind a large number of inheritances that were enough to make people jealous. However, most of the inheritances were too old. With the passage of time, they had been severely corroded. The words were blurred and couldn't be comprehended. But among the many inheritances, Yi Qingfeng and Fu Yue still found many that moved them. Top-grade heaven-class soul skills, wind-riding incantation, Tai sword art, heaven-defying 7-demon blade. Looking at the top-grade heaven-class soul skills on the stone wall that could make peerless kings jealous, Yi Qingfeng and Fu Yue patiently cultivated and improved their foundation. Soon, 2 months had passed. In these 2 months, Yi Qingfeng and Fu Yue gained a lot. Yi Qingfeng cultivated 2 sets of top-grade heaven-class soul skills and successfully condensed the 4th killing halo. Fu Yue had also grasped the first style of the heaven-defying 7-demon blade and the first style of the blood demon art. There were signs of condensing the 2nd killing halo. According to the death aura in the air and the changes in the surroundings, the inner ridge should be in front. Senior sister, I suggest you wait for me here. I will explore the inner ridge alone. The two of them walked through the dense death aura to the end of the kernel, looking at the forest in front of them, covered by a large amount of black fog. Yi Qingfeng suggested with a serious expression, "No, I want to go into the inner ridge with you. I don't want to stay here alone." Fu Yue shook her head and said firmly. She was afraid of being separated from Yi Qingfeng. "All right, then after 3 days, when the destructive storm dissipates, we will go deep into the inner ridge and find a way out." Looking at Fu Yue's determined eyes, Yi Qingfeng nodded and decided. 3 days later, the world-destroying storm arrived as expected. The rolling storm was like a giant beast that had just awakened. It roared in the sky and swallowed everything. The terrifying energy made people unable to summon the slightest thought of resisting. It was as if their organs were being torn apart. Array patterns. This destructive storm is formed by array patterns. Standing at the end of the call, looking at the destructive storm that looked like the end of the world, the powerful God-Eater brain felt the power of the array patterns. There must be a big secret hidden in this death ridge. What kind of monster is it suppressing? Yi Qingfeng looked at the destructive storm with a serious expression. He controlled the God-Eater brain to release soul power into the death ridge to sense the situation. However, the array patterns in the death ridge were too terrifying. The God-Eater brain sensed for a few hours, but found nothing. After half a day, the destructive storm disappeared. The chaotic inner ridge gradually returned to peace. Senior sister, let's go. Although the danger in the inner ridge was beyond Yi Qingfeng's imagination, he was not willing to be trapped here to death. He summoned the golden rock wings and hugged Fu Yue's hot and soft body in his arms. He spread his wings and flew high into the air. He flew towards the inner ridge that was filled with black fog and unknown dangers. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 360. Beast Mound. Ancient Array, Darkness, Silence. After flying into the inner ridge, Yi Chunfeng realized that the inner ridge was pitch black. A strange power had swallowed up all the light. With his vision, he could only see about 10 meters away. Fu Yue was even worse off. She could only see about 5 meters away. The unknown environment made her feel deeply uneasy. She couldn't help but grab onto Yi Chunfeng's large hand, seeking spiritual comfort. It's so quiet in the inner ridge. There's not a single sound. Yi Chunfeng took out 3 moonlight stones. The weak light illuminated the gloomy surroundings, allowing them to see the appearance of the inner ridge. Corpses. Why are there so many corpses here? The expressions of Yi Chunfeng and Qin Wentian changed slightly. They saw corpses strewn all over the ground in the ancient mountains. Among them, there were also quite a few heavily damaged weapons that had been eroded by the passage of time. Kacha! When Yi Chunfeng and his companions stepped on the white bones on the mountain, the weathered bones immediately shattered, leaving behind deep footprints. Chunfeng, that annihilation storm was so terrifying. Why did it leave behind so many corpses? Looking at the mountain of bones in front of her, Fu Yue asked softly with beads of sweat on her forehead. If I'm not mistaken, that storm was formed by the formation. When a storm is formed, the formation will naturally operate. Everything here is enveloped by the formation, so it is not affected by the storm. Yi Chunfeng analyzed. Array. Are you saying that this dead ridge is actually a large array? Fu Yue raised her eyebrows and asked in surprise. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Yes, I have a feeling that this death ridge is a great formation that was created to suppress a ferocious creature. Suppress the ominous creatures. Fu Yue sucked in a breath of cold air and said, What kind of monster is this? Is it worth setting up such a shocking array? I don't know. Hopefully, we'll be lucky enough to avoid that ominous creature. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said in a serious tone, Let's go, senior sister. Let's continue forward and find a way out. If there's a way out, it must be in the inner ridge. All right, Fu Yue nodded. She gripped Yi Chunfeng's large hand tightly and walked forward cautiously. As they ventured deeper, Yi Chunfeng's vision became smaller and smaller. Fortunately, the God-Eater brain was not affected by the formation and could cover an unlimited range. This was also the biggest reason why Yi Chunfeng took the risk of venturing into the inner ridge. If he could find the core of the formation, he might have a chance to escape by relying on the powerful deduction ability of the God-Eater brain. Yes, there's light ahead. Yi Chunfeng and Huang Xiaolong walked side by side, cautiously walking in the terrifyingly quiet inner ridge for a day or so without encountering any danger. Suddenly, rays of light appeared in the pitch-black inner ridge, attracting Yi Chunfeng and Huang Xiaolong's attention. Sword puppet. Upon seeing the light, Yi Chunfeng immediately became alert. He immediately summoned the sword puppet and ordered the sword puppet to scout out the situation in front of them to see if there was any unknown danger. Safe. Passage sword puppet. After confirming that there was no danger in front of the light, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the golden rock wings and flew over with Fu Yue in his arms. When the two arrived at the light, they were immediately stunned by the scene in front of them. A large number of beast bones were scattered in the huge depression. Among them, there were many huge beast bones that were hundreds of meters long and had bone spurs like swords. What level of beast bones are those? Why are they so big? Looking at the huge beast bones that were as big as mountains, Fu Yue was so shocked that her eyes widened. It could be said that the scene in front of her was beyond her knowledge. She had never seen such huge beast bones. Those beast bones are at least at the level of a heavenly beast. Those beast bones that are hundreds of meters long might be beyond the level of a heavenly beast. Yi Feng said with a solemn expression. Beyond the level of a heavenly beast. Fu Yue took a deep breath and thought of the introduction in the ancient books. She said in shock, "Could those beast bones be from a holy beast? That is very possible. Furthermore, the ferocious thing suppressed by the Death Ridge might be a holy beast." Yi Feng guessed as he nodded. Heavens, didn't they say that only the heavenly region has holy beasts? Why would there be a holy beast in the North Sea state? Fu Yue said in disbelief. This is just my guess. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Yi Feng took a deep breath and said, "Let's go, we'll fly over." Just as Yi Feng carried Fu Yue and flew over the beast mound, suddenly, a large number of array patterns shot out from the beast mound and covered the entire space. The beast bones seemed to have come alive and roared at Yi Feng and Fu Yue. The terrifying sound waves made Yi Feng and Fu Yue's souls tremble. Not good. There's an ancient array hidden in the beast mound. Looking at the beast bones that seemed to have come alive with a large number of array patterns, Yi Feng smelled the scent of death. He increased his speed to the maximum and wanted to rush out. 7 swords of judgment, thunder, devour. Yi Feng roared and ignited the dragon blood in his body. 4 killing halos condensed and surging slaughter energy and 1,500,000 gene of strength were all injected into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. 10 Sword Dao patterns and 10 Thunder Intents quickly fused and turned into an invincible Thunder Sword. It carried a shocking destructive force and slashed at the surface of the ancient array. Yi Feng had used all his trump cards in this attack. Even a 4th-grade Defiant Beast King would have to avoid this attack. Rumble. The activated ancient array was attacked by the Thunder Sword and trembled violently. However, this ancient array was too powerful and the Thunder Sword couldn't penetrate it. Damn it! It seems that I need to find the array core to break the ancient array hidden in the beast mound. After failing to break through the array, Yi Feng immediately controlled the God Eater Brain to cover the entire ancient array and find the array core. At this moment, the beast bones that had been fused with the formation patterns flew into the air, roaring as they attacked Yi Feng. Wrath of Divine Punishment. Hundreds of beast bones attacked. Yi Feng didn't hesitate to use the Wrath of Divine Punishment to attack. Black Flame Sky Fire, Ancient Cold Black Ice, and Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder surged out of his body at the same time. They gathered into a tricolor destructive light ball and shot out. Explode. Yi Feng roared and the tricolored energy ball exploded. The terrifying explosion instantly covered the beast roars and formed an extremely terrifying energy storm. It swallowed the hundreds of beast bones and crazily destroyed their bodies. Although these beast bones were terrifying when they were alive, they had been eroded by time and weren't even 1/10,000th of their prime. Moreover, the beast bones had no essence and were extremely fragile. After being attacked by the Wrath of Divine Punishment, they shattered and dissipated. Sword Puppet, destroy the beast bones for me. Yi Feng found that the beast bones were easier to deal with than he thought. He summoned the Sword Puppet again and ordered the Sword Puppet to land in the beast mound and kill the beast bones crazily. Wrath of Divine Punishment. While the Sword Puppet was attacking, Yi Feng constantly blasted the Wrath of Divine Punishment to attack the entire beast mound and destroy the crazy beast bones. After about 2 hours, the thousands of terrifying beast bones in the beast mound were all destroyed by Yi Feng and the Sword Puppet. The danger was eliminated. God Eater Brain, find the array core. With the danger gone, Yi Feng immediately landed in the beast mound that was full of cracks and covered dozens of miles. He controlled the God Eater Brain to deduce the location of the array core. However, the ancient array hidden in the beast mound was extremely mysterious and unpredictable. The God Eater Brain couldn't deduce the location of the array core in a short time. Days passed. Yi Feng cleared his mind and deduced again and again. Finally, at the bottom of the beast mound, he found the array core that was integrated with the ancient array. At this time, more than 9 days had passed. The destructive storm in the inner ridge was about to arrive. Yi Feng decisively gave up on breaking the beast mound array. He broke the hard ground with his sword and went through the cracks with Fu Yue to the array core. God-Eater Brain, break the array core. Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater Brain to quickly crack the ever-changing array core. He forcefully opened a gap in the impregnable array core and hid in it with Fu Yue, waiting for the arrival of the destructive storm. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on Save at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 361. Ice Emperor, Rumble. The destructive storm that engulfed the world was about to arrive. The black storm of destruction was like a roaring wave, destroying everything in the world. The entire inner ridge was in chaos, and the ground was shaking violently. Senior sister, don't be afraid. This place should be very safe. Yi Chunfeng, who was hiding in the heart of the beast mound, could feel Fu Yue's body trembling. He gently grabbed her shoulder and comforted her. However, just as he finished comforting them, the great formation in the beast mound shattered. The formation heartstone at the center of the formation also unexpectedly shattered. A destructive storm as black as ink swept over. Sword Puppet, defend. Yi Chunfeng immediately injected a large amount of soul crystals into the sword puppet and ordered the sword puppet to use its indestructible body to block the center of the formation, which was riddled with cracks, to resist the impact of the annihilation storm. Boom, boom, boom. The destructive shockwave swept down and bombarded the sword puppet's body. Immediately, a huge explosion rang out, and the sword puppet's energy was rapidly depleted. In less than half an hour, the sword puppet had consumed nearly 1,000,000 mid-grade soul crystals. Fortunately, Yi Chunfeng had killed a large number of absolute kings and collected close to 70 million mid-grade soul crystals, which was enough for the sword puppet to use. Time passed by in torment. Under the protection of the sword puppet, the annihilation storm was unable to harm Yi Chunfeng and his companion in the slightest. Half a day later, the destructive storm gradually dissipated, and the chaotic inner ridge gradually returned to peace. Phew, the annihilation storm has finally subsided. Yi Chunfeng let out a long sigh of relief. He stored the sword puppet, which had consumed more than 20 million mid-tier soul crystals, into his Qianquan ring and left the depths of the beast mound with Fu Yue. Senior sister, let's go. The ancient array of the beast mound was torn apart by the destructive storm. Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the golden rock wings and left the beast mound with Fu Yue. They continued to venture deeper into the inner ridge that was full of dangers. Yes, a deep pool. There's actually a deep pool in front of us. Yi Chunfeng took Fu Yue and flew for more than half a day in the complex terrain of the inner ridge, which covered the sky and covered the sun. Unexpectedly, they discovered a strange, deep pool that was emitting traces of cold air. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to circle around the pool, a powerful soul fluctuation suddenly surged out from the pool and locked onto the two of them. A deep voice rang out from the pool. It's been 3,900 years. Before I reached the end of my lifespan, someone finally made it here alive. Who? Upon hearing the mysterious voice from the deep pool, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed slightly as he asked cautiously, "Juniors, don't be nervous. I have no ill intentions." As he spoke, a gap appeared in the deep pool that was emitting traces of cold air. An old man with white hair, shriveled skin, dim eyes, and an ashen face emerged from the pool. Level 6 Reverse Beast King. Yi Chunfeng's eyes narrowed as he sensed the true strength of the old man. The caution in his heart grew even stronger. Although the old man before him looked like he had one foot in the grave and would not live for long, his realm was the real deal. If he used up the last of his life force to attack, Yi Chunfeng would not be able to withstand it. Level 6 Black Beast Grandmaster and Level 5 Heavenly Beast Immortal. It's a miracle that you could make it here alive with your strength. The white-haired old man sat cross-legged above the pool. He looked at Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue with murky eyes and said weakly, "Senior, you are?" Yi Chenfeng looked at the white-haired old man with sharp eyes and asked softly, I have long forgotten my name, but 4,000 years ago, they were all called Ice Emperor. The white-haired old man said proudly, Ice Emperor, the third-generation palace master of the Ice Palace. Fu Yue raised her eyebrows and revealed a look of shock. She did not expect to meet the third-generation palace master of the Ice Palace in the Inner Ridge. Little girl, I did not expect that you would have heard of I at your age. It seems that your background is not simple. The Ice Emperor looked at Fu Yue and said with some surprise. As he looked, the Ice Emperor's murky eyes suddenly became sharp. His aura also changed greatly. He was very excited. Little girl, come here. Let me take a good look at you. The Ice Emperor said. Senior, what do you want? Yi Chenfeng quickly stood in front of Fu Yue. The sword and thunder Dao patterns circled around him, ready to attack at any time. Sword Dao, first heaven. Thunder Dao will first heaven. Looking at the sword and thunder Dao patterns circling around Yi Chenfeng, the Ice Emperor was shocked for the first time. He was shocked that Yi Chenfeng, at such a young age, had comprehended the Dao while that he had never comprehended. Don't be nervous. I have no evil intentions. I called her over to confirm her body type. The Ice Emperor looked at Yi Chenfeng with deep meaning. His aura disappeared again. He said in a low voice, Perhaps she can inherit my legacy. Inherit your legacy? Yi Chenfeng was a little surprised. Sigh. I was a hero of my generation back then. I risked my life to enter the Death's Pole in search of ancient ruins and opportunities to become an emperor. But who would have thought that the Death's Pole was so terrifying that it was beyond my imagination? I was trapped here until I died. I have been trapped here for more than 3,900 years. Now, I have less than 30 years left. As for her body type, it is extremely likely that she has the ice spirit body, which is rarely seen in 1,000 years. Therefore, I want to confirm it. If she really has the ice spirit body, this old man is willing to give her all of my soul power to help her activate the ice spirit body and inherit this old man's legacy. The Ice Emperor sighed softly as he explained slowly. Junior, do you still not believe me? If I really have a plan, do you think you can stop it with your strength? I just want to find a successor before I die, so that I's legacy will not be buried in this dark place. The Ice Emperor said unhappily, Chenfeng, don't worry about me. I believe that you have no evil intentions. Looking at the Ice Emperor's cloudy eyes that were full of desire, Fu Yue took a deep breath and walked towards the old Ice Emperor without hesitation. Buzz. Looking at the tall and slender Fu Yue, who looked like a dark elf, the Ice Emperor's eyes narrowed. He shot out his soul power and poured it into Fu Yue's body. In the next moment, the Ice Emperor became very excited. His cloudy eyes lit up. The heavens have blessed me, truly blessed me. I actually met the ice spirit body that is rarely seen in 1,000 years. I, the Ice Emperor, finally have a successor. Even if I die, I can die in peace. Junior, what is your name? Are you willing to be this old man's last disciple? If you are willing, this old man will pass on everything to you. The Ice Emperor stared intently at Fu Yue as he asked. Junior, Fu Yue greets Master. Fu Yue would never have dreamt that she would encounter such a rare opportunity in the Inner Ridge where danger lurked everywhere. She knelt on the ground without hesitation and performed the ritual of 3 kowtows and 9 kowtows. Good. Looking at Fu Yue, who was kneeling on the ground, the Ice Emperor smiled with satisfaction. Yue, it is my fortune to have you as my disciple before I die. I hope you can pass on my legacy. Senior, you have been trapped here for so many years. Do you know the way out? Yi Chenfeng looked at the excited Ice Emperor and asked. I have been trapped in this damn place for almost 4,000 years, and I have explored this place many times. 100 years ago, I accidentally found an ancient formation in the depths of this mountain range. According to my speculation, that might be the only way out of this damned place, the Ice Emperor said without hiding anything. Senior, can you tell me the location of the ancient array? I want to take a look. Yi Chenfeng said. You want to go? The Ice Emperor said without hesitation. Although you are very talented, you are too weak. I can tell you clearly that you will definitely die if you enter the ancient array. Don't worry, Senior. I just want to study it. I won't do anything stupid, Yi Chen-feng said firmly. Since you must know, I will tell you. As he spoke, the Ice Emperor told Yi Chen-feng the location of the mysterious ancient formation. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 362. Chengfeng, do you really want to go? Fu Yue asked nervously, afraid that something would happen to him. Senior sister, you follow Senior and cultivate well. I'll be back after I check out the ancient array. Yi Chen-feng nodded and said, Junior, for the sake of my disciple, I'll remind you again. That mysterious ancient formation is extremely terrifying. I've personally seen 2 absolute kings take the risk to enter that place and never come out again. Therefore, with your 6th level profound beast ancestor cultivation, there's no chance of survival if you enter that place. The Ice Emperor solemnly reminded. Senior, I wonder what's the real danger of that ancient array? Was that annihilation storm produced by that great formation? Yi Chen-feng asked in detail. I'm not sure how that destructive storm was formed, but the situation in that ancient array is very complicated. Not only is it filled with a terrifying soul energy, but it's also filled with a terrifying suppressive force. I'm guessing that someone forcefully extracted a large number of demon beast souls and used their souls to set up that ancient array. That's why there are so many demon beast bones in this dead ridge. The Ice Emperor said without hiding anything. Thank you for telling me. Yi Chen-feng didn't waver after learning about the terrifying ancient array from the Ice Emperor. He still decided to take the risk and explore the ancient array. If he couldn't find a way out, he and Fu Yue would be trapped here forever. This was an ending that he didn't want to see. Senior sister, you stay here and cultivate well. I'll be back in 8 days at the latest. After speaking, Yi Chen-feng stepped on lightning and turned into a zigzag lightning. He flew into the inner ridge and headed towards the mysterious ancient array according to the map that the Ice Emperor gave him. Master, do you think Chengfeng will be fine? Fu Yue knew that she was too weak to be of any help. She looked at his back and asked nervously, afraid that he wouldn't be able to come back. Maybe he can come back alive. Although the Ice Emperor had already sentenced Yi Chen-feng to death in his heart, he didn't say it out loud. He wanted to leave Fu Yue with unlimited imagination and hope so that she wouldn't do something stupid. Come, Yi, Master will give you a gift to help you awaken your ice spirit body. As he spoke, a ball of blue ice water appeared on the Ice Emperor's body. The temperature in the air dropped instantly. This blue Qian ice water is a spirit water of heaven and earth that I subdued in my early years. After being nurtured by me for nearly 4,000 years, the power it contains is infinitely close to that of heavenly water. Don't resist. I will help you fuse with the azure ice water and activate the ice spirit body. If you can activate your ice spirit body, your body will undergo an earth-shattering transformation. The Ice Emperor ordered. He did not care about the cost of using his sparse flames of life. He controlled the azure ice water to fuse with Fu You's body, helping her to forcefully fuse with the azure ice water. The chilly wind rustled, and the aura of death filled the air. Yi Chen-feng stepped on a thick layer of corpses and fallen leaves as he slowly advanced. Fear. The depths of the inner ridge can actually awaken the fear in my heart. As he walked, Yi Chen-feng suddenly felt that he was affected by a strange power. The fear in his heart was slowly being aroused. Just as Yi Chen-feng was trying his best to suppress the fear in his heart and continue moving forward, a devilish voice entered his ears. Then, a large number of illusions appeared in Yi Chen-feng's mind, confusing his mind and consciousness. God-Eater Brain, dispel the illusions. His mind was being invaded by the illusions. Yi Chen-feng immediately guarded his mind and controlled the God-Eater Brain to devour the illusions that invaded his mind. This inner ridge is too strange. Not only can it awaken the fear in one's heart, but it can also confuse one's mind. What secrets are hidden here? The deeper Yi Chun-feng went into the inner ridge, the more frightened he became. If not for the fact that he did not want to be trapped in the Death Ridge, he would have given up on exploring the inner ridge's secrets. After about 10 hours, Yi Chun-feng guarded his mind and followed the route that the Ice Emperor had given him. He arrived at the center of the inner ridge. He saw a pitch-black space that looked like a black hole. Occasionally, he could hear the roars of beasts. So scary. What kind of powerful being could have set up this ancient formation? Looking at the ancient formation that looked like a black hole, Yi Chun-feng immediately felt a sense of suffocation and fear. It was as if the entire ancient formation was a ferocious beast. As long as he entered it, he would be torn to pieces. Let's take a gamble. After hesitating for a while, Yi Chun-feng decided to risk his life and explore this mysterious ancient formation. He wanted to find a way to leave the Death Ridge. Sword puppet, let's go. With a thought, Yi Chun-feng summoned the sword spirit puppet. Together, they walked into the mysterious ancient formation that covered hundreds of miles. It was so dark that they couldn't even see their own fingers. Hum. The moment Yi Chun-feng walked into the mysterious ancient formation, he immediately felt an overwhelming soul energy rushing into his mind. Although he was prepared, he still felt a splitting headache. It felt like his head was going to explode. God-Eater brain, devour. Seeing that Yi Chun-feng's soul was about to be torn apart by the soul energy, the God-Eater brain quickly wriggled and formed a devouring whirlpool in Yi Chun-feng's soul. It crazily devoured the soul energy that was rushing into his mind and protected Yi Chun-feng's soul. Phew, that was close. If I didn't have a God-Eater brain, my head would have exploded. Yi Chun-feng let out a long sigh of relief. He finally knew why the Ice Emperor said that he would definitely die if he entered this place. The danger of this mysterious ancient formation was beyond his imagination. The God-Eater brain protected his soul with all its might. Yi Chun-feng immediately led the sword puppet into the pitch-black ancient formation. After taking 2 steps, Yi Chun-feng felt an earth-shattering spatial energy pressing down on him. It was like a towering mountain pressing down on his body, pressing his legs into the ground. 6 Meridian Divine Shield. Yi Chun-feng's face was red as he roared. More than 1.5 million kilograms of energy erupted from his body, resisting the spatial pressure that was enough to crush a Grade 1 Defiant Beast King. At the same time, the sword puppet also burned its energy. It held up the sky with one hand to help Yi Chun-feng withstand the spatial pressure. I want to see what kind of secrets are hidden in this place. Yi Chun-feng took a deep breath. He withstood the immense spatial pressure and walked into the depths of the ancient formation. At the same time, he controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the ancient formation secrets. Roar, roar, roar. Not long after, terrifying beast roars came from the depths of the ancient formation. Dozens of beast souls that were close to the limit of heavenly beasts wriggled their huge bodies and whizzed over. Tao of lightning, ancient extreme purple lightning, break the beast souls. The power of lightning was the bane of beast souls. 10 lightning Tao patterns and ancient extreme purple lightning immediately rushed out of Yi Chun-feng's body and attacked the beast souls that were close to him. Boom, boom, boom. A series of deafening explosions sounded. The lightning Tao patterns and ancient extreme purple lightning exploded at the same time, producing a destructive force. However, the beast souls in the mysterious ancient formation were too terrifying. The destructive force produced by the fusion of the 10 lightning Tao patterns and ancient extreme purple lightning couldn't harm them at all. Not good. The lightning Tao patterns and ancient extreme purple lightning's attack were torn apart by the beast souls. Yi Chun-feng's expression changed drastically. He immediately ordered the sword puppet to block the attack. However, there were too many beast souls. Their attacking power was comparable to an emperor-level expert. The sword puppet, which could only unleash the power of a Grade 1 Defiant Beast King, couldn't block all the attacks. Power of primal chaos. Tear apart the ancient formation. At the critical moment, A surge of power of primal chaos shot out of Yi Qinfeng's body and pierced through two bee souls that were close to him. It directly tore their huge soul bodies apart and opened up an escape route. Sword Puppet, let's go. The danger level of the ancient formation was beyond Yi Qinfeng's imagination. Yi Qinfeng made a prompt decision and wanted to leave this strange ancient formation as soon as possible. However, in the next moment, the strange pitch-black ancient formation suddenly activated. Yi Qinfeng's vision blurred, and he disappeared from the periphery of the ancient formation. In the next moment, he noticed to his shock that he'd appeared in a space that was filled with countless formation markings, and it was completely out of tune with the outside world. At the center of this space lay a fat fellow that was crimson red like a pill flame, had 6 legs and 4 wings, and was fat. How can this be? Why is there a pig here? Chapter 363. Yi Qinfeng's father, F***CK. Who are you calling a pig? Hearing Yi Qinfeng's exclamation, the fat monster on the ground immediately jumped up and flapped its 4 wings. It released a terrifying aura and locked onto Yi Qinfeng, roaring furiously. You, what kind of monster are you? Why don't you have a face and 2 buttocks? When Yi Qinfeng saw the enraged white monster with no clear face, he felt somewhat flustered. He took 2 steps back and asked warily, "What is it?" 2 buttocks. The white monster's aura grew stronger. It roared angrily. Look carefully. The one with 2 eyes is the head, and the one with 1 eye is the butt. Yi Qinfeng, if it weren't for the fact that you have something that I'm interested in, I would have swallowed you whole for offending me. The white monster spat out white air and flew into a rage. What kind of monster are you? Yi Qinfeng asked with a frown on his face. The sword Dao pattern, the thunder Dao pattern, and the chaotic energy slowly moved in his body, ready to launch a fatal attack at any time. Monster, you're really going to piss me off. I am the undefeatable Chaos Divine Beast. I'm the one and only Chaos Divine Beast. The Chaos Beast opened his bloody mouth and bragged about himself endlessly. Chaos Divine Beast. Are you saying that you are a Chaos Divine Beast? Yi Qinfeng widened his eyes as he stared at the 6-legged, 4-winged Chaos Divine Beast that was as fat as a pig. His eyes were filled with doubt. The God Eater had an introduction to the Chaos Divine Beasts in his mind. The Chaos Divine Beasts were born at the beginning of the universe and were nurtured within the chaos. They were one of the most powerful divine beasts in the universe. Mature Chaos Divine Beasts had the ability to destroy space and swallow stars. Their attack power was even more terrifying than divine dragons and phoenixes. Now you know how powerful I am. The Chaos Divine Beast opened his mouth and said proudly as he looked at the dumbfounded Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng still could not believe that the cute monster in front of him was one of the most powerful divine beasts in the universe, Chaos. Are you really not a pig demon? Brat, you're going to piss me off. Piss me off. How can someone as ignorant as you possess the power of primal chaos? The primal chaos beast roared furiously. Hot air came out of its nostrils like dragons and snakes. This was not the first time Yi Qinfeng had used the power of chaos to kill people, but no one had ever recognized the origin of the power of chaos. Therefore, when the Chaos Divine Beast revealed the power of chaos, Yi Qinfeng was shocked. What? You don't want to admit it? Then take a look at what this is. As he spoke, 3 streaks of chaos power gushed out of the Chaos Divine Beast's mouth and circled around its chubby body. You really are a Chaos Divine Beast. Yi Qinfeng gradually believed the Chaos Divine Beast's identity when he saw the Chaos Divine Beast spit out chaotic energy. Nonsense. Now, can you tell me why you have the power of chaos? The Chaos Holy Beast looked at Yi Qinfeng with glowing eyes and asked maliciously, maybe it's because I'm gifted, or maybe it's a blessing from the heavens. Yi Qinfeng looked warily at the Chaos Divine Beast, whose eyes were glowing with green light, as he casually made up a story. I knew you wouldn't tell me the truth, but it's not up to you. As he spoke, the Chaos Divine Beast stomped on the ground with its front limbs. The space that was filled with array patterns suddenly shone with boundless white light. It was as though the Milky Way was flowing backward as it attacked Yi Qinfeng. Sword-type Dao pattern and lightning-type Dao pattern double kill. Suddenly attacked by the array pattern space, the 10 sword-type Dao patterns and lightning-type Dao patterns that flowed in Yi Qinfeng's body gushed out. They fused together and defended against the boundless white light. Oomph! Break! The Chaos Divine Beast snorted as he opened his mouth. Soul power gushed out of his mouth and hit the double-kill Dao pattern like mercury, shattering it immediately. In the next moment, the boundless white light hit Yi Qinfeng and penetrated his body. He was immobilized and could not move at all. Hee, I want to see what kind of treasure you have in your body. The Chaos Divine Beast looked at the immobilized Yi Qinfeng and came to his side. It spat out a mouthful of soul light to knock him out. It released a powerful soul power into his body to explore his secrets. Could this be the Chaos Divine Wood? When the soul power released by the Chaos Divine Beast flowed into Yi Qinfeng's heart meridian, it discovered the Chaos Divine Wood that was parasitic in Yi Qinfeng's heart meridian. It was so shocked that it even stuttered when it spoke. I'm rich. I'm rich. The heavens have finally opened their eyes after seeing that I have suffered so much. The Chaos Divine Beast roared excitedly. Wait until I refine the Chaos Divine Wood and recover my strength. Who can still trap me then? Break! As he spoke, a streak of chaotic force flew out from the Chaos Divine Beast's mouth and cut open Yi Qinfeng's chest like a knife. It revealed the Chaos Divine Wood that was parasitic in his heart meridian and had 2 small buds. Devour. The Chaos Divine Beast looked at the Chaos Divine Wood that had sprouted and became even more excited. It opened its mouth and released a powerful devouring force, wanting to devour the Chaos Divine Wood. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After being devoured by the Chaos Divine Beast, the Chaos Divine Wood immediately resisted and kept shattering the devouring force released by the Chaos Divine Beast. I don't believe that I can't devour you. The Chaos Divine Beast's devouring power was shattered by the Chaos Divine Wood, but did not give up. It continued to release a strong devouring power into Yi Qinfeng's body, determined to devour the wood. Just as the Chaos Divine Beast was using all its strength to forcefully devour the Chaos Divine Wood, a drop of golden blood suddenly appeared in the Chaos Divine Wood. In the next moment, tens of thousands of streaks of chaotic force broke out of the Chaos Divine Wood. Under the horrified gaze of the Chaos Divine Beast, the streaks of chaotic force penetrated its huge body and sent it flying. Golden blood. Who is this brat? Why is there golden blood in his body? The severely injured primal Chaos Divine Beast crawled up from the ground in a somewhat sorry state. It looked at the unconscious Yi Qinfeng in disbelief, shocked at his identity. The Chaos Divine Wood is mine. It must be mine. The Chaos Divine Beast knew how precious the Chaos Divine Wood was and decided to devour it at all costs and take it for himself. Little brat, what I left for my son is not something you can touch. You have great potential. Be my son's contracted beast obediently. Suddenly, a strange voice rang out from the Chaos Divine Wood. The drop of golden blood in the Chaos Divine Wood suddenly transformed into a strange rune. Under the horrified gaze of the Chaos Divine Beast, the rune fused into its head. No, the Chaos Divine Beast let out a roar of despair. It resisted with all its might, but it was useless. It could only watch as the golden rune fused with its soul. Child, the blood that I left in the Chaos Divine Wood is about to disappear. Apart from this drop of blood, I also left a drop of golden blood in the abyss of hell in the eastern continent. I hope you can obtain it. Father will not be able to accompany you in the future. However, Father believes in you. I believe that you can sever all the shackles and stand above the heavenly Tao. When that time comes, you and I, Father and Son, will wield our swords and challenge the heavenly Tao. An imposing figure floated out from the Chaos Divine Wood and looked at the unconscious Yi Qinfeng lovingly. His voice was filled with longing and reluctance. Child, Father is leaving. When Father regains control of the little six Tao, I will definitely come and visit you. As he spoke, the imposing figure became blurry. In the end, he forcefully sealed some of the important memories of the Chaos Divine Beast. He bent down and kissed Yi Chenfeng's forehead before disappearing. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Say button at the bottom to record this book. You'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 364. Heaven-Locking Matrix Roar. Roar. After an unknown amount of time, Yi Chenfeng, who had fallen into a coma, was suddenly awakened by a series of deafening roars. When he opened his tired eyes, he found hundreds of light chains as thick as buckets breaking through the matrix space and entering the body of the divine beast, which had grown dozens of times larger. It was in so much pain that it roared. An endless black storm was generated around the matrix space. Like an erupting volcano, it soared into the sky and caused a shocking change in the world. So that's where the destructive storm came from. This divine beast is the evil being suppressed by the Death Ridge. Yi Chenfeng struggled to get up and stayed far away from the roaring divine beast. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce the chaotic matrix space. He wanted to leave this evil place. However, the matrix that suppressed the divine beast was too mysterious. Even with the powerful deduction ability of the God-Eater brain, it could not break through it. After half a day, the white light chains that entered the divine beast's body were forcefully torn apart. The violent, destructive storm gradually dispersed. Kid, do you want to leave this place? The matrix space calmed down. The divine beast, who had consumed a lot of energy, let out a long sigh of relief. It looked at Yi Chenfeng in the distance with a complicated expression and asked in a deep voice, "What do you want now?" Although Yi Chenfeng did not know why the divine beast did not take away the chaotic divine wood from him, Yi Chenfeng was filled with hostility. He asked cautiously, "Don't be nervous. I won't attack you anymore. I just want to cooperate with you to leave this place." Because it had lost part of its memory, the divine beast had forgotten what had just happened. However, it subconsciously felt close to Yi Chenfeng, so it spoke in a low voice. "Do you think I will believe your nonsense?" Yi Chenfeng said doubtfully. He sped up the deduction of the God-Eater brain. "What? You don't believe me? You should know that killing you is as easy as crushing an ant for me," the divine beast said angrily to Yi Chenfeng, who was silent. "All right, I believe you. Then tell me, how do we work together to leave this place?" Looking at the aggrieved chaos divine beast, Yi Chenfeng subconsciously developed an inexplicable trust in it. And this trust came from the soul contract. This great formation that is suppressing me is called the Heaven's Sealing Formation. It has been suppressing me for 170,000 years. The divine beast of chaos took a deep breath and made up his mind. After 170,000 years of vicissitudes, the energy of the Heaven Lock Formation is almost depleted by me. Therefore, I'm prepared to abandon this severely overdrawn body and leave with you with my soul. Give up my body. Yi Chenfeng said in a low voice, this Heaven Lock Formation shouldn't just be suppressing your physical body. It should also be suppressing your soul. That's right. If you didn't have the Chaos Divine wood, even if my soul left my body, I wouldn't be able to escape from the suppression of the Heaven Lock Formation. However, you have a divine item like the Chaos Divine wood, so all problems will be solved, the divine beast of chaos said. Really, Yi Chenfeng was doubtful. He was afraid of being implicated by the divine beast of chaos. Of course, the Chaos Divine wood is one of the most powerful divine items in the universe. The power it contains is far above the Heaven Lock Formation. If my soul is hidden in it, the Heaven Lock Formation won't be able to do anything to it. All right, I won't harm you. Don't worry. The divine beast of chaos looked at Yi Chenfeng's doubtful eyes. It wanted to be angry, but it couldn't. It was very depressed. Chaos, what terrible crime did you commit back then? Why did someone suppress you in the lower realm? Yi Chenfeng asked curiously. Why can't I remember? The divine beast of chaos was just about to speak when it suddenly felt its head go blank. It couldn't remember many important memories. Forget it. If you don't want to say it, then forget it. Yi Feng curled his lips. He didn't believe the divine beast of chaos. Kid, what do you mean? Do you think I'll lie to you? The divine beast of chaos roared angrily. I really forgot. But how could you forget? I remember that I was cursing that old bastard yesterday. All right, I believe you. Now, tell me the method to leave this place. Let's discuss how to leave, Yi Feng urged, not bothering to argue with Xiao Chun. Every time this heaven-lock formation tortures me, it will hunt the power of the entire extreme of death. After 170,000 years of evolution, the extreme of death is the same as me. It's not even 1/10,000th of its peak. As long as we steal the sun, leave the heaven-lock formation, find a formation heart stone hidden in the extreme of death, and destroy it, we can leave this godforsaken place. The divine beast of chaos said, Chaos, if you abandon your physical body, how much power can you retain with just your soul? Yi Feng thought for a moment and asked, It should be the strongest power in your world. The divine beast of chaos said, All right, let's take a gamble. Yi Feng took a deep breath and decided, Don't worry. A divine item like the Chaos Divine would has recognized you as its master. You won't be so short-lived. The divine beast of chaos whispered, In a moment, I will control a small portion of the formation's power to transport you to the periphery of the heaven-lock formation. When the time comes, use all your strength to escape. As long as we leave the heaven-lock formation, we'll be safe. The divine beast of chaos said seriously. All right. Yi Feng nodded and held the titanic sword in his hand, ready to fight at any moment. Handsome and dashing body, goodbye. The divine beast of chaos soul floated out of its huge body and murmured reluctantly. It began to control the formation space. Go! The soul of the divine beast of chaos roared and burrowed into Yi Feng's body, hiding in the chaos divine wood. In the next moment, a teleportation force formed in the formation space and enveloped Yi Feng, transporting him to the periphery of the heaven-lock formation. Sword puppet, come over quickly. When Yi Feng arrived at the periphery of the heaven-lock formation, he immediately sensed the location of the sword puppet. He ordered it to burn a large amount of energy to penetrate the spatial pressure and approach him. At this moment, the 6 terrifying beast souls in the heaven-lock formation discovered Yi Feng. They let out a ferocious roar and attacked him quickly, wanting to tear him into pieces. Among them, there was a beast soul with 3 beast heads, a leopard, a tiger, and an eagle. Its body was hundreds of meters long. Its entire body was glowing with soul light. It posed a deadly threat to Yi Feng. Class 9 Heaven Beast Soul. Looking at the 3 beast souls, Yi Feng's expression changed slightly. The thunder and sword Dao patterns quickly revolved around his body, ready to launch a fatal attack at any moment. You bunch of trash. Die for me. Roar. There was a deafening beast roar. The divine beast of chaos, hiding in Yi Feng's body, let out an earth-shattering roar. It surged out of Yi Feng's body like rolling waves and bombarded the 6 beast souls that were attacking rapidly. In an instant, the 5 terrifying beast souls were shattered by the roar of the divine beast of chaos. The 3-headed beast soul of the class 9 Heaven Beast was also shattered. Yi Feng endured the pain in his eardrums as his dragon bloodline burned rapidly. The sword Dao pattern and thunder Dao pattern fused together, forming a strange demonic moon. The extremely sharp sword light cut through the spatial pressure, causing cracks to appear in the spatial pressure. 7 swords of judgment, waning moon. Yi Feng roared. The 2-headed blood dragon king appeared in his body. He held the gigantic fault heavenly sword with both hands and performed the 3rd style of the 7 swords of judgment. He slashed at the 3 beast souls that were full of cracks. The waning moon sword slash, which was mixed with the sword Dao patterns, thunder Dao patterns, and the power of the dragon bloodline, seemed to be able to split the heaven and earth. It ruthlessly slashed at the three beast souls that were full of cracks, cutting off their heads. Beast soul form. After cutting off the three beast heads, Yi Chunfeng decisively transformed into his strongest beast soul form. At the same time, large patches of blood dragon scales covered his body to strengthen his defense. He withstood the spatial pressure that was enough to crush a reverse beast king and quickly rushed out of the Heavenlock Matrix. Roar! 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 When Yi Chunfeng met up with the sword puppet and tried to break out of the Heavenlock Matrix, a large number of beast souls appeared in the Heavenlock Matrix, roaring and blocking their way. Primal chaos energy break. At the critical moment, two streaks of primal chaos energy flew out of Yi Chunfeng's body and bombarded the beast souls with the force of 1,000 soldiers. They forcibly tore open a path. Quick, quick, quick! I feel that the Heavenlock Matrix has sensed me. Just as the primal chaos divine beast roared continuously to help Yi Chunfeng break out of the Heavenlock Matrix, it felt a force that made its heart palpitate lock onto it. It was so frightened that it roared and urged anxiously. Golden Rock Bloodline, power of blood essence burn. Hearing the primal chaos divine beast roar, Yi Chunfeng immediately raised his physical strength to the limit. He burned the Golden Rock Bloodline and power of blood essence and flapped his wings violently. Like a hurricane, he tore through layers of spatial pressure and quickly approached the edge of the Heavenlock Matrix. At this moment, three chains of white light descended from the sky above the Heavenlock spell formation. They were like three white divine dragons, attacking Yi Chunfeng. Sword puppet defend. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng ordered the sword puppet to block in front of him. It used its indestructible body to take the fatal blow of the three chains of white light. Boom, boom, boom. Three violent explosions sounded. After the sword puppet took the attack of the three chains of white light, the energy in its body was instantly depleted. Like a kite with a broken string, it fell into the distance. Collect. The moment the sword puppet's energy was depleted, Yi Chunfeng, whose entire body was burning, put it into his universe ring in time. In a spurt of energy, he tore through the chaotic Heavenlock Matrix and escaped from it. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 365. My goodness, where did your puppet come from? It took a fatal blow from the heaven-trapping lock and remained unscathed. Its body is even stronger than mine. After leaving the heaven-trapping array and hiding in a relatively safe cave in the inner ridge, the Chaos Divine Beast heaved a sigh of relief. It appeared in Yi Chunfeng's body and was very interested in the sword puppet. Don't talk nonsense, protect me. Yi Chunfeng sat cross-legged on the ground and drank a mouthful of divine fate water. He consumed a heaven-class soul elixir and quickly recovered his blood chi and soul power. He also healed his injuries. F***CK. How dare you order me around? You should know that I can kill a small fry like you with a fart. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's order, the Chaos Divine Beast was furious. However, it subconsciously could not disobey Yi Chunfeng's order. It could only sulk and obediently protect Yi Chunfeng. After about 6 hours, Yi Chunfeng quickly recovered his blood chi and soul power with the help of Divine Fate Water and Heaven-class Soul Elixir. He adjusted his body to its best condition. Chaos, do you know the location of the Extreme Death Array Core Stone? After his body recovered to its best condition, Yi Chunfeng opened his eyes and looked at the Chaos Divine Beast who was lying on the ground and blinking at him. He asked in a low voice, "If I'm not wrong, the Extreme Death Array Core Stone is in the northwest." The Chaos Divine Beast floated in the void and sensed for a while. He looked in the northwest direction and said, "Let's go and have a look in the northwest." As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Golden Rock Wings. Under the command of the Chaos Divine Beast, they flew through the dense death chi and headed in the northwest direction. He wanted to explore the Extreme Death Array Core first before he went to pick Fuyue up. He did not want her to be too weak and have an accident. That's right. This is the power. The almost dead ancient tree in front of us is the result of the extreme death array core. Yi Chunfeng flew in the inner ridge for almost an hour. The divine beast of chaos found a 10-meter-tall tree that was almost dead. It didn't have any energy fluctuation. The divine beast's eyes brightened. Looking at the seemingly ordinary ancient tree in the distance, Yi Chunfeng's eyes narrowed. His God-eater brain began to operate rapidly. A powerful soul force enveloped an area of 1 li around the ancient tree as he sensed the situation of the ancient tree. What a powerful formation! Under the God-eater brain's deduction, Yi Chunfeng's eyes reflected crisscrossing array patterns. The array patterns were so mysterious and powerful that Yi Chunfeng gasped in amazement. Sword puppet, go and test the power of the formation. Yi Chunfeng injected 1,000,000 mid-grade soul crystals into the sword spirit puppet and ordered it to get within 10 meters of Gumu in an attempt to approach the tree. Rumble. The moment the sword spirit puppet stepped into the core area of the formation, the wind and clouds above the ancient tree began to stir. Large patches of dark clouds rolled over like rolling waves. Streaks of killing light shot out like lightning bolts, bombarding the sword spirit puppet. In just 5 breaths, half of the sword puppet's energy was consumed. The terrifying slaughter light forced the sword puppet's legs into the hard ground. Such terrifying power. I don't think even emperors can withstand such attacks. Yi Chunfeng looked at the sword puppet that couldn't move forward after being attacked by the slaughter light. He decisively put it into his interspatial ring. Chaos. Do you have a way to break the extreme death restriction and get close to the array core stone? Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to enter the array core stone recklessly. He asked the divine beast of chaos, who had a serious look on his face. No, I don't have a physical body now. My soul's defense is too weak. I can't break this restriction and get close to the array core stone. The divine beast of chaos didn't expect that after 170,000 years, the restriction at the extreme death restriction was still so terrifying. He shook his head. Looks like I can only rely on the God-eater brain to break the restriction. Yi Chunfeng saw that the divine beast of chaos couldn't do anything. He sighed helplessly and sat cross-legged outside the restriction. Chaos, sword puppet, protect me. I will try to break this restriction, Yi Chunfeng instructed. Do you have the ability to do that? The divine beast of chaos was skeptical. Do you? Yi Chunfeng rolled his eyes at the divine beast of chaos and ignored it. He got rid of all distracting thoughts and increased the deduction ability of the God-eater brain. He merged it into the formation patterns and forcibly deduced the restrictions around the formation core. The extreme death formation seemed to be created by the Heaven Region Almighty. It was very mysterious and unpredictable. The God-eater brain had a hard time trying to deduce it. 9 days passed, and Yi Chunfeng didn't get anything. However, he wasn't discouraged. He continued to control the God-eater brain to break the formation. Rumble. Just as Yi Chunfeng was controlling the God-eater brain to break the formation without rest, the Heaven Lock formation started to operate again. Heaven Locks that contained destructive power appeared in the Heaven Lock formation and broke into Hunden's body that was left in the center of the formation. Kid, can you do it or not? My physical body doesn't have a soul to guide it. It can't withstand the attack of the Heaven Locks. Once my physical body is broken, I don't know if there will be any more accidents. Hearing the commotion from the Heaven Lock formation, the divine beast of chaos's expression changed. He felt very uneasy and urged Jiang Yi anxiously. I know. When the Heaven Lock formation was extracting the power of the extreme death, Yi Chunfeng suddenly caught a glimpse of an opportunity to break the formation. He quickly increased the God-eater brain's ability to deduce and tried to break the formation by force. Heaven and Earth Void, 1 origin, 2 cheese, 3 talents. Break the formless. Appearance comes from the heart. Gate of life open. The God-eater brain rapidly deduced for more than 2 hours. A powerful soul force burst out from the God-eater brain and blended into the violently fluctuating formation patterns. It forcefully tore apart the layers of formation patterns and opened up a safe passage. Chaos, let's go. After the gate of life opened, Yi Chen-feng didn't hesitate. He, the divine beast of chaos, and the sword puppet flew into the dangerous restriction. They swept past the gate of life that the God-Eater brain had forcefully opened and quickly approached the ancient tree formed by the array core stone. God-Eater brain, break the illusion. Taking the risk to approach the ancient tree, the God-Eater brain's power burst out again and bombarded the ancient tree that was violently fluctuating. It forcefully dispersed the illusion on the surface of the ancient tree, revealing 3 fist-sized crystal stones that seemed to have an ocean sealed inside. They contained extremely terrifying energy and were arranged according to their quality. Supreme Grade Heaven Crystal. These are Supreme Grade Heaven Crystals. That bastard who suppressed me actually left behind 3 peak Grade Heavenly Crystals here. Damn it, we might really be trapped here to death. The divine beast of chaos knew that Supreme Grade Heaven Crystals were first-rate treasures in the Heaven region. They were rare and precious. With its current strength, it definitely wouldn't be able to forcefully break it open. It cursed loudly. Supreme Grade Heaven Crystal. Yi Chen-feng raised his eyebrows and immediately looked at the sword puppet. He thought to himself, I wonder if the sword puppet has the chance to devour these 3 Supreme Grade Heaven Crystals and break this formation core. Sword puppet, devour. After hesitating for a while, Yi Chen-feng decided to take the risk. He immediately ordered the sword puppet to approach the extreme death formation core and devour the 3 Supreme Grade Heaven Crystals. Boom, boom, boom. When the sword puppet approached, a powerful formation pattern energy rose around the 3 Supreme Grade Heaven Crystals and bombarded the sword puppet continuously, not giving it a chance to approach. Divine Beast of Chaos, protect me. Yi Chen-feng instructed and immediately controlled the power of the God-Eater brain. He fused it into the formation pattern that was blocking the sword puppet. He forcefully broke the formation core and created an opportunity for the sword puppet to devour the Supreme Grade Heaven Crystals. At the same time, the divine beast of chaos physical body in the Heavenlock formation core couldn't withstand the Heavenlock's attack and suddenly exploded. When the divine beast of chaos physical body shattered, the Heavenlock formation immediately changed. A soul force that terrified Yi Chen-feng and the divine beast of chaos suddenly surged out from the Heavenlock formation. It instantly covered the entire extreme death. Not good. That person left a backup in the Heavenlock formation and discovered me. We are in danger. Sensing a terrifying soul force locking onto it, the divine beast of chaos soul revealed a terrified expression. In the next moment, the space above the extreme death formation core distorted. A small finger that was as thick as a water bucket and emitted a dazzling golden light flew out of the distorted void. It locked onto Yi Chen-feng and the divine beast of chaos, bringing them a fatal threat. Chapter 366. What a terrifying aura. Chaos. Do you know whose finger this is? Please search #Yen for the most complete information. Feeling the invincible aura from the broken finger, Yi Chen-feng felt like he was facing a towering mountain. He felt small and powerless. He quickly asked the chaos divine beast, I can't remember. However, this finger is very scary. Its attack power is beyond the limits of your world. The chaos divine beast tried hard to recall, but realized that he could not remember much important information. Chaos divine beast, with your current strength, can you delay its attack as much as possible? Yi Chen-feng asked with a serious expression. Why? Do you have a way to deal with that broken finger? The chaos divine beast asked in surprise. I'm now 100% confident, but I can take the risk. Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and said in a low voice, All right, I will try my best to delay it. However, you must hurry. Otherwise, I will definitely be crushed to death. The chaos divine beast knew that he had no other choice but to take the risk. Yi Chen-feng nodded and continued to control the God-Eater brain to break the array patterns around the 3 extreme heaven crystals to create an opportunity for the sword puppet to devour. Little chaos, I have promised someone that if you obediently stay here, I will spare your life. Unfortunately, you are still unwilling to accept your fate and want to escape. Since that is the case, there is no need for me to keep you alive." A deep and domineering voice rang out from the broken finger. The powerful voice caused the entire void to tremble. "Damn it! Who are you? Why are you so determined to take my life?" The divine beast of chaos cursed. He desperately wanted to remember who was the one who wanted to kill him. "Why? You can't remember?" The powerful soul in the broken finger said, "I don't care if you are really stupid or pretending to be stupid. You will not escape death today. Go to hell obediently." As he said that, the broken finger pointed down. A large amount of energy ripples burst out from the tip of the finger. Layers of space were crushed by the finger. Soul ignition. Chaotic energy break. The chaos divine beast roared. His soul was completely ignited. The 3 chaotic energy hidden in his body flew out and shot toward the broken finger at an extremely fast speed. Boom, boom, boom. When the extremely sharp chaotic force struck the finger, it immediately erupted with shock waves. It forcefully blocked the finger, preventing it from crushing down. Primal chaos force is indeed one of the strongest forces in the universe. Unfortunately, you are unable to unleash the full potential of primal chaos force. You are destined to die. The soul in the finger let out a cry of surprise. However, as he slowly increased the attack power of the finger, the 3 sharp strands of chaotic force began to crumble, disintegrate, and were on the verge of shattering. Primal chaos power shoot. The chaos divine beast opened its mouth and shot out all of the chaos force in its soul, attacking the finger. Rumble. The terrible impact formed a terrible shock wave, which suddenly exploded in the air. All the sound in the world was swallowed up, and Yi Chunfeng's chi and blood were violently tumbling. The heavenly thunder battle armor also became dim. "Yi Chunfeng, quickly lend me the chaos divine wood. I can't hold on for much longer." The chaos divine beast saw that even after releasing all of his chaotic force, he still couldn't block the attack of the finger. He quickly sent a voice transmission to Yi Chunfeng, urging him anxiously. "All right." At this critical moment, Yi Chunfeng couldn't care less about exposing the chaos divine wood. With a thought, the chaos divine wood flew out of his body. Black flame skyfire, ancient cold mysterious ice, and ancient extreme purple thunder circled around the chaos divine wood. What is this?" The moment the chaos divine wood appeared, the powerful soul hidden in the finger immediately sensed an inexplicable danger and let out a cry of surprise. "Today, I would like to see who will die, you or me." With that, the chaos divine beast's soul fused into the chaos divine wood and controlled it to crash into the finger. Boom! The space was distorted, and the wind and clouds were stirred. A terrifying energy swept through the entire void. Ferocious spatial cracks spread out rapidly with them as the center. It was as if there was a sacred bell hidden in the entire void, and it let out a sound that shook the 9 heavens. The entire space was distorted. Hit by the terrifying storm, Yi Chunfeng was sent flying hundreds of meters away. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. He was severely injured. Chaos Divine Wood, unleash your strongest power. Taking the finger's strongest attack head-on, the Chaos Divine Beast that had fused into the Chaos Divine Wood was immediately severely injured. Its soul was covered in cracks. It relied on its strong will to burn its soul and control the Chaos Divine Wood to release chaos energy to defend. Chaos. Lead the finger to attack the seal around the 3 extreme sky crystals. The God-Eater brain's frequency of deciphering the formation patterns was forcefully interrupted. The severely injured Yi Chunfeng crawled up from the ground and transmitted a message to the Chaos Divine Beast that was desperately resisting. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's message, the Chaos Divine Beast that could no longer hold on quickly descended. It led the finger that was chasing after it relentlessly to the sky above the 3 extreme sky crystals. Collapse! A voice that sounded like it came from hell rang out from the broken finger. A large area of space was crushed by it. The terrifying power crushed the chaos divine wood, causing it to crash into the seals above the three extreme celestial crystals. It forcefully tore apart the layers of mysterious seals. Sword puppet, devour the extreme sky crystals. The formation patterns around the three extreme sky crystals were shattered. Yi Chenfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet that was rapidly depleting its energy to devour the three extreme sky crystals. After being devoured by the sword puppet, the three extreme sky crystals immediately emitted a powerful formation pattern power to resist the sword puppet's devouring. However, the sword puppet's body was very special. It ignored the formation pattern power erupting in its body and devoured the vast energy contained in the extreme sky crystals to rapidly increase its strength. In the blink of an eye, the sword puppet's strength soared to the limit of the Duhan continent and reached the Heaven Domain realm. Chaotic strike. Facing the finger's strongest attack head-on, the Chaos Divine Beast's soul began to disintegrate. Its life was hanging by a thread. It was on the verge of death. The injury to its soul was getting more and more serious. The Chaos Divine Beast released its strongest soul power at all costs and poured it into the Chaos Divine wood as a last resort. Boom! After fusing with the strongest soul power released by the Chaos Divine Beast, the silhouette of a towering ancient tree emerged from the Chaos Divine Tree, emitting a divine light. It shook violently in the chaotic void space, and the luxuriant treetop whipped the half-severed finger fiercely, directly knocking it back. Little Chaos, I didn't expect you to have such a trick up your sleeve. However, even if you have such a divine item, it still can't change your fate. Just accept your fate. As it spoke, the finger that was sent flying by the Chaos Divine would press down again. The terrifying power pressed the Chaos Divine wood into the cracked ground, causing the ground within a radius of several miles to collapse. With me here, I'm afraid you can't kill it. Seeing that the Chaos Divine Bee soul was being crushed by the finger, the sword puppet that had fused with three extreme sky crystals and whose star-like eyes were shining with a dazzling light made its move. He swung his sword, which was infused with a vast amount of energy. The sword split the sky and tore the earth apart. The sword landed on half of the finger. The powerful attack sent half of the finger flying, which saved the life of the divine beast of chaos. Originally, /BK/HL/30/30709/mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 367. God-Eater Brain Evolution. How can this be? How can there be such a terrifying puppet in the lower realm? Feeling the sword spirit puppet's aura as vast as the ocean and its astonishing attack power, the mysterious soul in the broken finger let out a bewildered cry. Phew, that was close, that was close. I almost lost my life. The divine beast of chaos, who had just escaped death, muttered to himself with lingering fear. He quickly controlled the Chaos Divine Tree to fly toward Yi Chenfeng, away from the center of the battle to avoid being affected. Slash! The sword puppet's boundless eyes were filled with murderous intent. Its vast aura soared into the sky and dispersed the chaotic air. The sword puppet turned its hand into a sword and slashed at the void. A zigzag crack appeared in the entire space as it slashed at the broken finger at an extremely fast speed. Boom! The broken finger trembled when it was attacked by the sword puppet's sword radiance. A clear crack spread on the surface of the finger. Clearly, the sword puppet's attack power was beyond what it could withstand. It's cracked. We're saved. The divine beast of chaos, who had just emerged from the Chaos Divine Tree, was ecstatic when it saw the crack on the broken finger. Extreme death, fused with the power of death. Sensing the terrifying power of the sword puppet, the mysterious soul in the broken finger began to borrow the power of extreme death to increase its attack power. In an instant, boundless death energy surged forth, merging into the finger like rivers flowing into the sea, constantly increasing the attack power of the finger. Whoosh! An ear-piercing sound rang out. The sword puppet turned into a sword and flew straight into the void. A powerful sword aura gushed out of its body and tore through the void as it slashed at the broken finger. The sword puppet turned into a sword and slashed at it. The broken finger, which had fused with a large amount of power of death, immediately counterattacked and pressed its finger against the sharp tip of the sword. Suddenly, the space was distorted. A large number of spatial cracks spread in the void. The entire sky seemed to be on the verge of shattering. "Oh my, this puppet of yours is too sick. But I like it." Witnessing the scene in the void, the divine beast of chaos realized that the attack launched by the broken finger did not cause any harm to the sword puppet. His heart finally settled. Sword puppet, and the battle quickly. Don't waste time. Although the sword puppet had a slight advantage due to its indestructible body, the energy in its body was rapidly depleting. Once its energy was completely depleted, the advantage would be instantly reversed. Upon receiving Yi Qinfeng's order, the sword puppet immediately sped up its attacks and fought fiercely with the severed finger in midair. The sound of metal clashing rang out incessantly. Top-grade heaven crystal burn. The sword puppet and the severed finger fought intensely for half an incense stick's worth of time. Suddenly, the sword puppet burned 3 of its highest-grade heaven crystals, releasing a terrifying energy that increased its attack power to the maximum. The ferocious attacks were like rolling waves. Each wave was higher than the previous one. Inky black cracks appeared in the chaotic space. They continuously struck half of the finger, causing it to be riddled with wounds. Sky-piercing finger. Seeing that the severed finger was about to be shattered by the sword puppet's ferocious attacks, the mysterious soul began to burn. The terrifying finger force directly crushed the continuous attacks launched by the sword puppet. The finger pressed down on its body, pressing it from midair to the ground, creating a bottomless black hole. "This, Yi Qinfeng, is that puppet of yours okay?" Seeing the sword puppet being pressed into the ground by half of the finger, the divine beast of chaos's heart fell to the bottom. It asked in fear, if the sword puppet could not win, then what awaited it would be death. "Don't worry, we will definitely be able to get through this safely." Yi Qinfeng looked at the severed finger with a burning gaze and said in a low voice, "Bang!" As soon as Yi Qinfeng's voice fell, the sword puppet shattered the hard ground. Like a sharp sword that could kill, it flew straight into midair. Using its body as a sword, it continued to attack the severed finger. At this moment, the sword puppet was like a divine sword that had fallen into the mortal world. It slashed through the void and space. It was invincible and invincible. "Break!" The sword puppet roared. The dazzling silvery white sword light illuminated the 9 heavens. Fusing with the power of the highest grade heaven crystal, it slashed at the severed finger ruthlessly. Finally, it cut off a severely damaged fingertip, severely injuring the mysterious soul. Heaven lock formation, heaven transformation lock. Seeing that the sword puppet was about to break half of its finger, the heaven lock formation that had trapped the divine beast of chaos for more than 170,000 years suddenly appeared. Heaven locks as thick as water buckets fell from the sky and entangled the sword puppet. "Break!" With its body bound by the heaven locks, the sword puppet continued to burn the highest grade heaven crystal. It exploded with a shocking power and met the heaven locks one by one. It forcibly shattered the extremely powerful heaven locks. What kind of puppet is this? How can it be so terrifying? The mysterious soul in the severed finger became more and more frightened. He realized that no matter what he used, he was completely restrained by the sword puppet's invincible defense. Thousands of heaven locks, heaven binding. The mysterious soul did not give up. He continued to burn his soul and controlled the heaven lock formation to form heaven locks to bind the sword puppet. As long as he could bind the sword puppet, he would have a chance to kill Yi Qinfeng and the divine beast of chaos and complete his mission. Slash. With its body bound by layers of heaven locks again, the sword puppet's body exploded with a shocking sword light. It swept up a vast amount of energy and shattered the layers of heaven locks. It flew out and intercepted the severed finger that was about to crush Foam. His hands, which were filled with the power of destruction, tightly grabbed onto the severed finger, not giving it a chance to attack Foam. In the next moment, the sword puppet burned all the energy in the 3 highest grade heaven crystals. An earth-shattering power erupted from its body and poured into its arms. In an instant, the power surging in its arms reached 100 million. The terrifying power tore the severed finger apart and exposed the mysterious soul hidden in the finger. Little chaos, and you, human, die with me. The severed finger was torn apart by the sword puppet. Its soul power was greatly burned. The extremely weak, mysterious soul turned into a stream of light and launched a final attack at Foam and the divine beast of chaos. It wanted to crush their souls and bring them to hell. It's still not certain who will die. Foam quickly stood in front of the divine beast of chaos and endured the final attack of the mysterious soul. He allowed it to enter his brain. God-Eater brain, devour. Before the mysterious soul could self-destruct, a terrifying devouring whirlpool appeared in Foam's mind and devoured it instantly. No, what is this? What is in your brain? After being attacked by the devouring whirlpool formed by the God-Eater brain, the mysterious soul was torn apart before it could self-destruct. It turned into thousands of soul shards and was devoured by the God-Eater brain. After devouring the mysterious soul from the heaven region, the power contained in the God-Eater brain reached the limit. It squirmed rapidly and split into tens of thousands of brain cells, undergoing a transformation. Soon, the God-Eater brain expanded and underwent a qualitative change. It greatly increased Foam's comprehension and talent. It also sublimated his soul and even split out a mysterious soul shard. When Foam's soul fused with this soul shard, an extremely mysterious body refining divine art. 9 transformations divine change appeared in his mind. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 368. Foam, are you okay? Don't scare me. When the Chaos Divine Beast saw Foam bleeding from his 7 orifices and standing still, its heart tightened. It quickly flew in front of him and asked anxiously, "Hundun, protect me." Foam opened his eyes and ordered. He sat cross-legged on the cracked ground and quickly assimilated the cultivation method of the divine change of 9 transformations. The divine change of 9 transformations was the #1 body-tempering divine art of the god race. It was divided into spirit body, true spirit body, aura body, Shin body, war body, celestial body, star body, saint body, and god body. Each transformation was further divided into 5 minor realms. It required one to form a divine pearl of power at the Shunmin acupoint, wrist, Yongquan acupoint, foot, Shanzhong acupoint, chest, Shunkei acupoint, navel, and Shunting acupoint, head. When the divine change of 9 transformations was cultivated to the extreme, one's physical strength could reach trillions, and one's physical body would become a god. One would have the strength to crush stars, shake the heavens, and traverse the universe. The #1 body-tempering divine art of the god race. What race is this god race? Is this God-Eater brain related to the god race? Foam muttered to himself. He opened his eyes and looked at the floating chaos divine beast. Hundun, do you know about the god race? God race. I seem to remember, but why can't I remember? The chaos divine beast tried to recall, but it found that its mind was blank. You really live up to your looks. Foam rolled his eyes at the pig-like chaos divine beast and ignored it. He began to study the cultivation method of the divine change of 9 transformations, the first tier of the spirit body transformation. This spirit-body transformation cultivation method is simple. As long as one accumulates enough energy and fuses it into the acupoints, one can form a spiritual pearl and break through the physical strength limit. And after reaching the first minor realm, one's physical strength can reach 3 million gene. The first tier of the divine change of 9 transformations was heaven-defying, but Yi Chun-Feng knew that it was not easy to form 5 spiritual pearls in the 5 major acupoints. The energy required was even more terrifying. Otherwise, the divine change of 9 transformations would not be known as the #1 divine cultivation method of the God race. Done. Now that the array core of the extreme death is gone, are you going to follow me or leave by yourself? Yi Chun-Feng stood up slowly as he studied the cultivation method of the transparent spirit body transformation. He looked at the divine beast of chaos who was guarding him silently and asked for its opinion. Of course I'm following you. Because of the soul contract, the chaos divine beast was subconsciously very close to Yi Chun-Feng. In addition, the chaos divine wood was very beneficial to it, so the chaos divine beast said without hesitation, "Since you've chosen to follow me, then let's make a deal. All right, go ahead. My 3 requests are very simple as well. They are to listen to me, and listen to me," Yi Chun-Feng said with a faint smile. "What kind of lousy request is that?" The chaos divine beast roared furiously. "You don't have to follow the rules, but I won't let you stay by my side," Yi Chun-Feng said with a smile. He looked as if he was going to eat the chaos holy beast. "Forget it. You." The divine beast of chaos ground its teeth. "So you agree?" Yi Chun-Feng looked at the chaos divine beast of chaos and asked. "Roar." The chaos divine beast of chaos replied with hatred. "Since you've agreed, you have to call me boss in the future." "Don't call me kid," Yi Chun-Feng said. "F***cky. How old are you?" The chaos divine beast of chaos protested loudly. "Just because of the 3 rules we made." "Why? Do you want to go back on your word?" "Forget it." You. The chaos divine beast of chaos answered sullenly. "By the way, Done, how much strength can you unleash in the current condition of your soul?" Yi Chun-Feng asked. "Damn it, my strength has dropped by another level. My current strength should be equivalent to a level 6 heavenly beast." "You're so weak now." A level 6 heavenly beast was equivalent to a level 6 reverse beast king. Although it was powerful enough in the Duhan continent, Yi Chun-Feng was not satisfied. He asked in disappointment, "How can I restore your strength?" "It's not difficult to restore my strength. You just need to find me some demonic cores of level 9 heavenly beasts and saint beasts for me to devour. I'll be able to restore my strength quickly and reform my body," the chaos divine beast of chaos said. "Do you think level 9 heavenly beasts and saint beasts are cabbages that you can kill whenever you want?" Yi Chun-Feng rolled his eyes at the chaos divine beast of chaos. "Don't you have the sword puppet?" With his combat strength, killing level 9 heavenly beasts and saint beasts is as easy as killing a chicken. The chaos divine beast of chaos looked at the sword puppet in awe. The battle between the sword puppet and the broken finger had frightened him. After destroying the broken finger, the sword puppet's energy has been completely depleted. He can no longer unleash that kind of strength, Yi Chun-Feng said with a sigh. If the sword puppet could continue unleashing that kind of strength, Yi Chun-Feng would be able to do whatever he wanted in the Duhan continent. "I see. Chaos, this is for you." Yi Chun-Feng took out the only level 5 heavenly beast core and threw it to the chaos divine beast of chaos. A level 5 heavenly beast core. It's just passable, but it should be useful. The chaos divine beast of chaos curled his lips and swallowed the beast core. He muttered in his heart and entered Yi Chun-Feng's body. He parasitized in the chaos divine wood and refined the beast core to recover. It's time to bring senior sister Fu away. With a thought, Yi Chun-Feng kept the depleted sword puppet into his Chinquan ring and flew toward the inner ridge ice pool. "Master, what happened in the inner ridge? Will Chun-Feng be okay?" The battle between the sword puppet and the broken finger had caused a huge commotion. It had affected the entire inner ridge. Fu Yue could not help but worry about Yi Qinfeng when she heard the earth-shattering sound. Disciple, the dangers of the inner ridge are not something you can imagine. It's been more than 10 days, and that kid still hasn't returned. I think he's most likely lost his life in the inner ridge. The Ice Emperor, who had aged a lot, said emotionlessly. In order to activate Fu Yue's ice spiritual constitution, the Ice Emperor had not only merged the blue Qian ice water that he had subdued earlier into her body, he had also transferred half of the soul power that he had cultivated throughout his life into her body to activate her ice spiritual constitution and raise her cultivation level to level 1 Dark Beast Overlord. No, I believe in Chongfeng's strength. He will be fine. Fu Yue's face changed when she heard the Ice Emperor's words. She shook her head and said, "Sai, my disciple, I advise you to accept reality. Forget about that brat who doesn't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Follow your teacher's legacy and spend the last few decades of your life with me." The Ice Queen sighed and said selfishly, "No, Master, I want to find Qingfeng." Fu Yue became more worried as she thought about it. She stood up suddenly and said, "No, I won't allow you to enter the inner ridge and lose your life for nothing." The Ice Emperor's face darkened. He stood in front of Fu Yue and ordered her not to disobey. "Master, I am indebted to Qingfeng. I can't watch him die in the inner ridge." Fu Yue said in a pleading tone, "You are indebted to him, but I am indebted to you too?" The Ice Emperor reprimanded sternly. "For you, I gave you the blue Qian ice water and half of my soul power. I also taught you the Ice Palace's supreme ice sealing sword technique. Don't tell me that all these can't compare to that kid. Master, I am indebted to Qingfeng for saving my life. Please forgive me for being stubborn this time." Fu Yue bit her alluring red lips and said without hesitation. She was about to rush into the inner ridge. "It's not up to you." With that, the Ice Emperor released a powerful aura that pressed down on Fu Yue's body like a mountain. In the next moment, the Ice Emperor's withered hands moved quickly. He condensed thousands of strands of soul power and bound Fu Yue's body. "Master, what are you doing?" Fu Yue struggled painfully. However, her strength was limited. She couldn't break free from the Ice Emperor's restraints. "I asked you to calm down," the Ice Emperor said with an ugly expression. "When you calm down, I will return your freedom." "Ice Emperor, aren't you forcing me to do something I don't want to do?" Suddenly, a low voice sounded. Yi Qinfeng flapped his golden rock wings and turned into a stream of light as he flew over from afar. Mobile users can visit Chapter 369. Qingfeng. Seeing Yi Qinfeng flying towards her, Fu Yue's heart finally calmed down. Her pale face revealed an excited smile. He's not dead." The Ice Emperor, on the other hand, was astonished. He couldn't believe that Yi Qinfeng had actually survived such a devastating storm. "Ice Emperor, let's senior sister Fu go." Yi Qinfeng landed and looked at Fu Yue, who was bound by a large number of soul strands, with a gloomy face. "Kid, tell me, what happened to you in the Death Ridge? How are you still alive with your strength?" The Ice Emperor looked at Yi Qinfeng with his cloudy eyes and asked coldly. He had no intention of letting Fu Yue go. "Let senior sister Fu go, and I'll tell you," Yi Qinfeng said in a low voice when he saw the sharpness in the Ice Emperor's eyes. "All right, I hope you're not lying to me. Otherwise, I won't go easy on you," the Ice Emperor warned coldly. After speaking, he released the soul strands that bound Fu Yue's body and let her run to Yi Qinfeng's side. "Now, can you tell me what happened in the Death Ridge?" the Ice Emperor asked in a low voice. "I don't know what happened in the Death Ridge, but I found a way to leave this place," Yi Qinfeng said half-truthfully. "Qingfeng, you really found a way to leave the Death Ridge?" Fu Yue raised her eyebrows and asked in a slightly excited voice. I came back to bring you out of this place." Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Impossible. With your strength, how could you find a way to leave this place? You must be lying to me, being trapped in the Death Ridge and enduring the loneliness and despair. Watching his life slowly depleting, the Ice Emperor could not take it no matter how strong his heart was. His heart was twisted, right when he accepted his fate and waited for the arrival of death. he unexpectedly found out that Yi Chanfeng had only used a little over 10 days to find the exit that trapped him to death. This caused him to be unable to accept this fact, and he fell into madness. "Master, why don't you come with me and Qingfeng? Maybe we can really leave this damn place." Fu Yue looked at the Ice Emperor, who had lost control of his mind, and said, "Get out, get out." Suddenly, a murderous look appeared in the Ice Emperor's eyes. He looked at Yi Qinfeng and said, "Brat, hand over your soul obediently. Let me see if you are lying or not." As he spoke, an earth-shattering aura erupted from the Ice Emperor's withered body. It was like a mountain pressing down on Yi Qinfeng. "Master, what are you doing? You can't hurt Qingfeng." Fu Yue did not expect the Ice Emperor to want to devour Yi Qinfeng's soul. She quickly stood in front of Yi Qinfeng and screamed, You don't think that you can go against me just because you've inherited my legacy. If he really finds a way out, I'll take back everything I've given you." The Ice Emperor said emotionlessly with a ferocious expression. "Master, you." Fu Yue's body trembled. She could not believe what she had heard. She could not accept that the Ice Emperor's feelings for her over the past 10 days were fake. "Senior Sister Fu, he took you in as his disciple to continue his legacy and lessen his regrets. Now that things have taken a turn for the better, he naturally wants to take a gamble. If he succeeds, he may have a chance to continue living. So he wants to take back everything he has given you." Yi Qinfeng saw through the Ice Emperor's thoughts and said slowly, "Junior, you are very smart. You actually guessed my thoughts." The Ice Emperor looked coldly at Yi Qinfeng and said, "But you really shouldn't have told me the truth. If you were in despair, I would not have hurt you. But now, I will not let you live. Why do you think I dare to tell you the truth when I clearly guess your thoughts?" Yi Qinfeng stood straight like a steel spear. He looked at the Ice Emperor, who was gradually calming down and exuding a strong, murderous intent. "Junior, don't think that you can fight me just because I gave her half of my soul power. I will let you know the difference between the Reverse Beast King and the Profound Beast Sect." The Ice Emperor's eyes flashed with murderous intent. An ice blade that was 6 feet and 6 inches long appeared in his hand. It was a low-grade heavenly weapon. "When I was at my peak, I was indeed no match for you. But now, I can kill you like killing a dog." With that, a high-pitched dragon roar sounded from Yi Qinfeng's body. The double-headed Blood Dragon King, which was more than 3,000 meters long, appeared and circled above his head, roaring at the Ice Emperor. Double-headed Blood Dragon. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast, the Ice Emperor was not shocked. Instead, he was overjoyed. He said excitedly, "Kid, you are the best gift that the heavens have given me. After devouring your soul and occupying your body, I may be able to take the most difficult step and break through to the Emperor level. Then I can leave this place. It will be even better." "Sai, you are still dreaming. I have to say that your brain is really rusty." Yi Qinfeng sighed softly. After fusing with the double-headed Blood Dragon King, his strength instantly reached the level of a second-grade Reverse Beast King. The terrifying dragon aura shook the world. Then, Yi Qinfeng circulated the 8 Sha Azura art and condensed 4 killing halos, increasing his strength again. Sensing Yi Qinfeng's sudden increase in strength, the Ice Emperor, who was at the end of his life and had lost half of his soul power, changed his expression. He sensed a trace of danger from Yi Qinfeng. Just as he was shocked, Yi Qinfeng made his move. His entire body turned into a shocking sword light that tore through layers of air and stabbed towards the Ice Emperor's throat at lightning speed. I seal saber art. Yi Qinfeng's sword pierced over, and the Ice Empress immediately reacted. The ice blade in her hand glowed with cold light, and 6 water Dao patterns appeared. As the ice blade fell, it condensed into a powerful ice saber light. The saber slashed towards Yi Qinfeng, blocking his swift sword. Sword Dao, Thunder Dao, Intent Break. The attack was blocked by the Ice Emperor's saber. 10 Sword Dao patterns and Thunder Dao patterns flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body and bombarded the ice saber light, breaking it like a hot knife through butter. What? Sword Dao First Heaven and Thunder Dao intent, first heaven. When the Ice Emperor saw that Yi Chunfeng's sword had fused with 10 sword and 10 thunder Dao patterns, he revealed a look of disbelief. Wrath of divine punishment. While the Ice Emperor was still in shock, the black heavenly fire, ancient extreme purple thunder, and ancient profound ice surged out of Yi Chunfeng's body and quickly formed a tricolored destructive light ball. It crushed the void and bombarded the Ice Emperor's body like a meteor. I seal saber art. I seal heaven and earth. Sensing the destructive power of the wrath of divine punishment, the Ice Emperor, who couldn't dodge, immediately executed his ultimate move. The water Dao patterns fused into the ice blade. In an extremely short period of time, he slashed out 36 times consecutively. The densely packed blade lights were like surging waves, boundless and endless. Each blade was stronger than the previous one as it slashed into the wrath of God's punishment, forcibly splitting open a gap in it. Explode. After the wrath of divine punishment was slashed open by the Ice Emperor, Yi Chunfeng immediately detonated it. The destructive power that shook heaven and earth erupted. It was like a huge, devouring mouth that swallowed the Ice Emperor and crazily destroyed his old body. 10,000 miles ice seal, tear the void. The Ice Emperor's injuries were getting worse, and he was on the verge of death. He didn't hesitate to burn his thin flame of life. With the help of the 6 water Dao patterns, he forcefully tore apart the destructive storm and was about to escape. It's over. 7 swords of judgment, thunder devour. The sword Dao patterns and thunder Dao patterns quickly gathered and formed a giant thunder sword that could split the heaven and earth. It carried a shocking destructive power and slashed the body of the Ice Emperor, who had turned pale with fright. The sword split open his severely injured body. Large amounts of blood spurted out like a fountain from his body. God-devouring brain, devour. After splitting open the Ice Emperor's body, Yi Chunfeng quickly appeared behind him. He pressed one hand on the Ice Emperor's head and used the soul-devouring art to devour his spiritual beast. He also used the 8-Sha Azura art to absorb the dense death aura that permeated the Ice Emperor's body and ended his life. For mobile users, please visit Chapter 370. The Extremity of Life. What a dense aura of death. After devouring the large amount of death aura released by the Ice Empress, the speed of the 8-Flash Azura art was pushed to the limit. It devoured all the ink-black death aura that filled the air into Yi Chunfeng's body. In less than 10 breaths of time, Yi Chunfeng had condensed the 5th killing halo. The killing power had reached an extremely terrifying level. When Fu Yue saw the Ice Emperor being killed by Yi Chunfeng, she felt an inexplicable pain in her heart. Although she already knew the true reason why the Ice Emperor had taken her in as a disciple, she was still indebted to the Ice Emperor. If it wasn't for the Ice Emperor, she definitely wouldn't have been able to obtain the blue Qian ice water, activate the Ice Spirit Body, learn the Ice Palace's supreme inheritance, and increase her strength to the level of a first-grade mystic beast ancestor in such a short time. Senior sister, let's go. Yi Chunfeng took away the Ice Emperor's belongings and looked at Fu Yue with a complicated expression. Chunfeng, after all, I am indebted to him. Let me bury him before we leave. Fu Yue sighed softly. All right, I'll help you. Yi Chunfeng nodded. He helped Fu Yue dig a hole beside the cold pond and buried the Ice Emperor's body. Master, no matter what your motive is for taking me in as your disciple, I sincerely acknowledge you as my master. I guarantee that I will definitely bring your legacy to greater heights. Before I leave, please accept my 3 bows. With that, Fu Yue knelt in front of the slightly bulging grave and kowtowed 3 times before leaving with Yi Chunfeng. Senior sister, are you all right? Yi Chunfeng looked at the slightly pale Fu Yue and said softly, Don't worry about me. Fu Yue shook her head lightly and squeezed out a smile. Chunfeng, you've really found the way out of Death Ridge. Yeah, we really found it. Let's leave this place now. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said. He brought Fu Yue to the heart of the extreme death array. Because the three supreme-grade celestial artifacts had been devoured by the sword puppet and the battle between the sword puppet and the severed finger. The entire core of the extreme death formation had become extremely fragile. Yi Qinfeng effortlessly tore apart the fragile space barrier and opened a gap to leave. He and Fu Yue left the pole of death where no one had ever left alive and came to a valley with towering ancient trees, a calm lake, and wildflowers. It was like a paradise on earth. We're out. We're finally out. Looking at the beautiful scenery in front of her, Fu Yue only felt a gust of fresh air. The simple and elegant smell of the earth hit her in the face. Her sorrowful mood improved a lot, and a charming smile appeared on her cold and elegant face. The peak of life, this is the peak of life. I didn't expect the heart of the extreme death array to be connected to the entrance of the peak of life. Sensing the aura of the outside world, the divine beast of chaos, who had just refined the level 5 heavenly beast demon pill and stabilized a severely injured soul, floated out of Yi Qinfeng's body and said excitedly, "Pig, Qingfeng, why is there a pig in your body?" Looking at the divine beast of chaos, Fu Yue raised her eyebrows and asked in confusion. She could not understand why Yi Qinfeng would have a pig with him. What an ignorant girl. Have you seen a pig as handsome as me? The divine beast of chaos said angrily. Why, you're not a pig. Hearing the divine beast of chaos speak human language, Fu Yue was even more surprised. That's right. I'm a divine beast of chaos, one of the most powerful divine beasts in the universe. The divine beast of chaos boasted proudly. Divine beast! Fu Yue sucked in a breath of cold air. She looked at Yi Qinfeng and asked, "Qinfeng, is it really a divine beast?" Yes, it is a divine beast. However, it only has its soul left and needs time to recover its strength. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Oh right, divine beast of chaos, you said this is the peak of life." That's right. The chi of life here is so strong. It's definitely the peak of life. The divine beast of chaos nodded and looked back and forth with its big, sneaky eyes. Divine beast of chaos, is this peak of life dangerous? What treasures are there in it? Yi Qinfeng did not dare to enter recklessly after seeing how terrifying the extreme death was. Don't worry, the two extremes of life and death. The extreme death is a place of great danger, but the extreme life is a place of great fortune. The degree of danger is definitely not as terrifying as the extreme death. The divine beast of chaos said, "If the extreme life is not destroyed after 170,000 years of evolution, it will definitely give birth to a spirit of life." Spirit of life? What is that? Yi Qinfeng asked. The spirit of life is a living creature that has been nurtured for more than 100,000 years at the extreme life. It has the ability to revive the dead. As long as there is still a breath left, the spirit of life can pull him back from the gates of hell. Even in the heaven region, the spirit of life is an incredible treasure. It is enough to make many almighty in the heaven region fight over it. The divine beast of chaos explained in detail. It's so magical. Then we have to explore the extreme life. Opportunities and risks coexisted. Yi Qinfeng dared to explore the extreme death, a place of great danger. He was not afraid of the extreme life. Moreover, he had developed a strong interest in the spirit of life. Let's go, senior sister. Divine beast of chaos. Let's go in and take a look. With that, Yi Qinfeng, who was skilled and bold, led Fu Yue and the divine beast of chaos into the heaven-like valley that was rich in the power of life. There are signs of fighting. Could it be those three from the Ice Palace? Their true goal is the extreme life. As they went deeper into the valley, Yi Qinfeng saw many signs of fighting and dried blood. He guessed that the Ice Palace's peerless kings had entered this place. About 2 hours later, Yi Qinfeng and the others walked out of the valley where the scenery was pleasing. They passed through a restriction that was not very powerful and entered the extreme of life where ancient trees towered into the sky. Before they had taken a few steps, an angry beast roar rang out. A black panther, over 10 meters long, with a streamlined body and covered in black fur, leapt out from the thick bushes. It bared its long fangs and roared at them. Level 6 Heavenly Beast. Seeing the Black Panther suddenly appear in front of them, Yi Chen-feng was slightly surprised. He had not expected that as soon as they entered the extreme life, they would meet a level 6 Heavenly Beast that was equivalent to a level 6 Reverse Beast King. Don't panic. Leave this little panther to me. Without waiting for Yi Chen-feng to take action, the Chaos Divine Beast floating in mid-air gave a strange cry. Like a moving mini-mountain, it pounced towards the Black Panther, engaging it in a fierce battle. Although the Chaos Divine Beast did not have a physical body, and its power was greatly reduced, it was still a divine beast, and in terms of attacks and abilities, it far surpassed the Black Panther. In less than half an incense's time, the level 6 Heavenly Beast Black Panther was torn apart by the Chaos Divine Beast, its blood and demonic core devoured. Such power! Looking at the scene of the Chaos Divine Beast Spirit tearing apart the level 6 Heavenly Beast Black Panther, Fu Yue's face was full of shock, and she completely believed in its strength. With the Chaos Divine Beast protecting them, the pressure on Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue was greatly reduced. As for the level 7 and above Heavenly Beasts in the extreme life, they were also sensed by Yi Chen-feng's powerful soul spirit and avoided them. Very quickly, they entered the depths of the extreme life and found a sky-like barrier filled with countless runes and restrictions. Beneath the sky screen's restriction sat a man covered in blood. His hair was dry and white, and he only had one arm. Looking at the one-armed man in the distance, Yi Chen-feng's lips curled into a cold smile, and he slowly walked over. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 371. It's you guys. You guys actually managed to leave the death's pole alive. Hearing the footsteps, the one-armed man who was sitting cross-legged under the sky barrier opened his eyes. When he saw Yi Chen-feng and Fu Yue walking over slowly, he was startled and exclaimed in disbelief. It was as though he had seen a ghost. Why? Are you surprised? Yi Chen-feng revealed a cold smile and said, Now, we should settle the score. You want to kill me? Let's see if you have the ability. The one-armed man burst out with a roar, and the blood in his body burned instantly. A terrifying beast soul appeared behind him and roared at Yi Chen-feng. Deathly silent blade light. After burning the power of blood and qi and fusing with his spiritual beast to forcefully suppress the serious injuries on his body, the one-armed man burst up. The bone-white blade light, entwined with the power of death, slashed at Yi Chen-feng. Yi Chen-feng's pupils shrank, and he instantly fused with the two-headed Blood Dragon King. His aura changed, and rays of light leaked out from his body. He was like a divine sword that was about to be unsheathed, incomparably sharp. 7 Swords of Judgment, Thunder Devour. Yi Chen-feng slashed out with his sword, and the dazzling lightning giant sword soared into the 9 heavens. Thunder Dao patterns and Sword Dao patterns revolved around the lightning giant sword as though they wanted to split the sky in half. Boom! The two great soul skills collided, and a deafening explosion sounded. Endless energy ripples repulsed each other in midair. But after a moment, the bone-white, deathly silent blade light began to shatter and was penetrated by the destructive Sword Dao patterns and Thunder Dao patterns. What? First level of Thunder concept? Seeing that the lightning giant sword was not only filled with 10 Sword Dao patterns but also 10 Thunder Dao patterns, the one-armed man revealed a look of horror and quickly dodged. Wrath of Divine Punishment. The moment he dodged, the tricolor destructive light ball cut through the chaotic void like a meteor and bombarded him at an astonishing speed. Man and blade unite, split heaven and earth. Unable to dodge, the one-armed man, who smelled a strong sense of danger, roared and quickly fused with the bone-white long blade in his hand, slashing down. Ka-ka-ka! A series of thunderous booms resounded as the wrath of divine punishment was slashed apart by the one-armed man's blade. The earth-shattering power surged out in all directions like a tide, shaking the sky like barrier violently. Poo-pee-you. Deep in the center of the destructive energy, the one-armed man's body was immediately shattered. His body was heavily injured, and he could no longer suppress it. Like a kite with a broken string, he fell from the sky. His entire body was badly mutilated. Tell me, did you find any life spirits in this extremity of life? Where did your two companions go? The destructive storm gradually dissipated. Yi Chen-feng walked with heavy steps towards the one-armed man who was severely injured and had almost lost his ability to fight. He questioned without a trace of emotion. Who are you? Why do you know so much about this place?" The one-armed man asked in despair. His eyes were dark, and blood was trickling from the corner of his mouth. "I'm the one asking you, not you. If you answer me obediently, I can give you a quick death. Otherwise, I will make you beg for death," Yi Chen-feng warned coldly. "You don't have to do it." As he spoke, the one-armed man, who knew that there was no way out, was about to self-destruct. However, Yi Chen-feng's reaction was faster. Before he could self-destruct, the ancient cold mysterious ice surged into his body and forcibly froze all his meridians, not giving him a chance to self-destruct. In the next moment, Yi Chen-feng activated the soul-devouring art and devoured his spiritual beast amidst his terrified howls. "Chaos, do you have a way to make him speak?" Yi Chen-feng looked at the one-armed man who was pale, twitching, and on the verge of fainting. "Simple, just search his soul." As he spoke, the chaos divine beast opened his mouth and spat out a large amount of soul strands. They drilled directly into the one-armed man's head and performed a soul search on him, obtaining the information that Yi Chen-feng wanted to know. Level 8 Heavenly Beast, Golden-Furred Iron Ape. When Yi Chen-feng learned that the one-armed man and the others had encountered a suspected Level 8 Heavenly Beast, the golden-haired Iron Ape, and were being chased by it, his expression turned solemn. With Yi Chen-feng's current strength, although he could kill Level 5 Heavenly Beasts, facing a Level 8 Heavenly Beast that was equivalent to a Level 3 Combat Beast Emperor, there was no other way but to escape. "All right, Chaos, Senior Sister, protect me. I'll break this light screen restriction." As he spoke, Yi Chen-feng took away the one-armed man's belongings and sat cross-legged outside the light screen restriction. With the help of the God-Eater brain, he cracked the light screen restriction that the one-armed man had spent several days to break. The God-Eater brain had evolved by devouring the mysterious souls of the celestial domain. Its ability to deduce and break restrictions had become even more terrifying. In less than half an hour, the God-Eater brain had deduced the changes in the light screen restriction. "Break!" Yi Chen-feng roared. The God-Eater brain's power erupted instantly and tore a hole in the restriction. "Let's go!" With the opening in the restriction, Yi Chen-feng immediately led Fu Yue and the divine beast of chaos through the restriction. They entered the light screen restriction and arrived at a spacious forest that was surrounded by clouds and mist. There were many treasures of heaven and earth growing there. It was like a celestial mountain in a sacred forest. Spirit of life. The small tree in front was transformed by a spirit of life. Walking into the forest that was rich with vitality, towering ancient trees, and entwined ancient vines, the divine beast of chaos that was floating in midair suddenly discovered a small tree that was more than a meter tall. It was milky white and had luxuriant leaves beside a quiet pool. Its eyes lit up as it devoured. "Chaos, is there any trick to capturing a spirit of life?" Yi Chen-feng did not approach the small tree blindly. Instead, he turned his head and asked the divine beast of chaos that had lived for more than 100,000 years. "Spirits of life are very agile. However, spiritual water and heavenly water are their nemesis. Don't you have a ball of spiritual water of heaven and earth? You just need to freeze it and forcefully erase its intelligence. Then you can capture a spirit of life," said the divine beast of chaos. "All right, wait for me here. I'll go and capture that spirit of life." Yi Chen-feng nodded and slowly approached the small tree that the spirit of life had transformed into. When he was 5 meters away from the spirit of life, It sensed danger and wanted to escape. However, Yi Qinfeng's reaction was faster. The cold air released by the ancient cold ice spewed out and bombarded the spirit of life at an extremely fast speed. It froze it forcefully. In the next moment, the power of the God-Eater brain surged into the spirit of life and forcefully erased its intelligence. Yi Qinfeng easily obtained a ball of spirit of life. What a rich life force! Chaos. Is this spirit of life good for one's cultivation level? Feeling the vast vitality contained in the spirit of life, Yi Qinfeng felt that all the pores on his body had opened up. He asked, "This spirit of life is a sacred item for healing. It doesn't have much effect on raising one's cultivation level. However, if it's in the heaven domain, I think many people would be willing to exchange a great Tao pill for the spirit of life," said the divine beast of chaos. This spirit of life can be exchanged for a great Tao pill. Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. Then we have to search for the spirit of life properly. The great Tao pill was a pill that only existed in the heaven domain. Only alchemists with extremely high attainments in alchemy could refine it. Every great Tao pill contained different Tao patterns. Hence, great Tao pills were usually unique. Let's go. Let's continue searching for the spirit of life. Yi Qinfeng struck out several formation patterns and sealed the spirit of life in a jade box. He continued to go deeper into this seemingly dangerous forest to search for the spirit of life in the depths of the forest. A month passed in the blink of an eye. After a month of searching, Yi Qinfeng and the others captured a total of 8 spirits of different forms in this lush forest. Just as they continued to search patiently, they discovered a huge waterfall in the depths of the forest. It was like the Milky Way had fallen to the ground. And under this waterfall, there was a perfectly intact skeleton that looked like crystal. And in front of the crystal skeleton, there was an incomparably sharp longsword that seemed to have the spirit of a dragon snake. When he saw the longsword in front of him, Yi Qinfeng's eyes instantly widened. A thought appeared in his mind. That's a high-grade heaven artifact. Chapter 372. Emperor Weapon. Flying immortal sword. There's something strange about that crystal skeleton. It seems like there's a powerful soul in it. The chaos divine beast warned in a low voice as he stared at the crystal skeleton in the distance. I feel it too. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Hun done. Protect senior sister Fu well. I'll take a closer look." With that, Yi Qinfeng held the gigantic fault heavenly sword tightly and slowly approached the crystal skeleton. Buzz! Suddenly, a powerful soul energy surged out from the crystal skeleton and poured into the high-grade heavenly sword that was stabbed into the ground. Ear-piercing sword cries rang out, shaking Yi Qinfeng's eardrums to the point that they were about to explode. In the next moment, the high-tier heavenly sword, whose body was like a dragon coiling around a snake, seemed to have a life of its own. It rose from the ground and interweaved into streaks of mysterious sword gleams in midair, attacking Yi Qinfeng. Sword-based Tao pattern break. As the sword light flew over, Yi Qinfeng immediately swung his sword to meet it. The sharp sword-based Tao pattern swallowed the gigantic fault heavenly sword and clashed fiercely with the upper-grade heavenly sword light. How mysterious. This is a sword technique. In the fierce battle with the upper-grade heavenly sword, Yi Qinfeng sensed that the upper-grade heavenly sword's attack was a mysterious sword technique. The two swords complemented each other, and their power kept increasing. 8-Sha Azura Art for slaughter styles. With his attack suppressed, Yi Qinfeng immediately activated the 8-Sha Azura Art and formed 5 killing halos. He used the 4 slaughter styles to counterattack. For a moment, the entire void was filled with wind and clouds. Thunder and lightning flashed. The two unstoppable sword techniques clashed fiercely in the air, forming a strong shockwave that tore the air apart. Hun done. Will Qinfeng be in danger? Fu Yue, who was hiding far away, asked worriedly as she looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was fighting fiercely with the upper-grade heavenly sword. Don't worry, little beauty. That kid is tough. He'll be fine. The chaos divine beast knew how heaven-defying Yi Qinfeng was and was not worried about him. Flame Dragon destroys the world. After executing the 4 slaughter moves, Yi Qianfeng was still unable to suppress the high-grade Heaven Sword. Immediately, he changed his attack pattern. Streaks of sword Dao patterns transformed into blazing fire dragons that incinerated the void and bombarded the high-grade Heaven Sword continuously. Flying Immortal Sword, the attack was suppressed by the fire dragon formed from the sword Dao pattern. Suddenly, a deep voice rang out from the high-grade Heaven Sword. In the next moment, the high-grade Heaven Sword turned into an extremely sharp streak of sword light, illuminating the entire space. With great momentum, it tore through the 4 fire dragons with lightning speed and slashed towards Yi Qianfeng. 7 Swords of Judgment, Extreme Cold. The 4 flaming dragons formed by the sword Dao pattern were torn apart. Yi Qianfeng immediately executed the 7 Swords of Judgment to counter the attack. 10 sword Dao patterns formed the extreme cold sword light and rushed forward. The 2 powerful attacks clashed for 2 breaths of time. The extreme cold sword light that contained the power of the great Dao was shattered by the sharp high-grade Heaven Sword that contained astonishing offensive power. Using the instant that the extreme cold sword light blocked, Yi Qianfeng executed his strongest move. The sword Dao pattern and thunder Dao pattern quickly fused together and formed a huge crescent sword arc in the void. From afar, it looked like a huge black moon had descended into the mortal realm. It was strange and terrifying. 7 Swords of Judgment, Waning Moon. Yi Qianfeng slashed with his sword. The waning moon sword light was released without restraint. It was extremely sharp and left a deep sword scar in the entire space. It slashed at the high-grade Heaven Sword that was thrusting over with unstoppable force. Boom! The 2 terrifying attacks clashed together and formed an astonishing destructive force. Large patches of the ground exploded. Countless rocks were turned into ashes, and the entire space was distorted. Bang! The high-grade Heaven Sword withstood the waning moon sword light's attack for 5 breaths of time. The soul in the Heaven Sword couldn't withstand it and couldn't control the Heaven Sword's attack. It was sent flying by the powerful waning moon sword light and stabbed into the crystal skeleton. After waiting for so many years, I finally found a person who comprehended the sword Dao. I can finally leave with peace of mind. The destructive storm in the void gradually dissipated. An aged soul emerged from the high-grade Heaven Sword. He looked at Yi Qianfeng and spoke with gratification. Senior, your soul didn't dissipate for so long because you wanted to find a new master for this sword. Yi Qianfeng asked in a low voice as he looked at the old soul that seemed to have 1 foot in the grave and could dissipate at any moment. That's right. I spent my entire life to refine this ruler weapon. Other than a swordsman who comprehended the sword Dao, no one else is worthy to be its master. All right, Junior, before my soul dissipates, I will give you another opportunity. Whether you can comprehend it or not will depend on your talent. After saying that, the aged soul took out the high-grade Heaven Sword and turned it into a sword. He performed the strongest sword move he had just used, the Flying Immortal Sword. Junior, take good care of my ruler weapon. If there comes a day when you don't need it, remember to pass it on to the next swordsman. Don't let it be buried in the hands of someone who doesn't understand the sword Dao. After slowly practicing the Flying Immortal Sword, the old soul became even weaker as it slowly entrusted Lin Fan with the task. Senior, don't worry. This junior will definitely treat it well. Yi Qianfeng nodded and promised in front of everyone. Old friend, I'm leaving. I hope you will like your new master. The aged soul looked at the ruler weapon with reluctance. As it let out a soft wail, it slowly dissipated in the air. After the aged soul disappeared, Yi Qianfeng walked to the crystal skeleton and deeply bowed 3 times. Next to the beautiful waterfall, he dug a hole and buried the crystal skeleton. Then, he collected the high-grade Heaven Tool ruler weapon. From now on, you will travel the Fighting Spirit continent with me. After pulling out the ruler weapon, Yi Qianfeng immediately felt a blood connection with it. This made Yi Qianfeng feel that even if he had not broken through to the Reverse Beast King realm, he could still unleash its true power. Senior sister, Chaos, I need to comprehend the sword move just now. Let's cultivate here for a few days. Although the aged soul had only performed the flying immortal sword once, Yi Feng, who had the God-Eater brain, had completely memorized it. What? You memorized that sword move? The divine beast of chaos widened its eyes and floated in front of Yi Feng. It looked at him as if he was looking at a monster. Even it had not completely memorized that sword move. Yes. Yi Feng nodded and ignored the stunned divine beast of chaos. He quickly sat cross-legged on the ground and controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce. The flying immortal sword did not have a specific level, but its power was more terrifying than an ordinary low-grade Dao skill. Once Yi Feng comprehended it, he would have another trump card. About 2 days later, Yi Feng, who was sitting still like a rock, suddenly opened his starry eyes. 10 sword Dao patterns surged out of his body and turned into a sword light. It was like a flying sword that slashed at the waterfall in the distance. Boom! The Milky Way waterfall was directly cut off by the flying immortal sword, leaving behind a terrifying sword light that traversed the void. Feng, you have mastered that sword move? Fu Yue was shocked when she saw the waterfall that was tens of thousands of meters long being cut off by the flying immortal sword. Yes. Yi Feng nodded. Crazy. The divine beast of chaos, who was lying on the ground and refining the demon pill in the early stage and recovering from the soul injury, glanced at Yi Feng and whispered, "Let's go. We will continue to search for the pole of life." After that, Yi Feng led Fu Yue and the divine beast of chaos deeper into the lush forest to search for the pole of life. After about 3 days, they arrived at the core area of the pole of life and found another array restriction. When Yi Feng used the power of the God-Eater brain to forcibly break open the array restriction, he accidentally found a mysterious stone tablet that was more than 3 meters tall. It was covered with mysterious ancient patterns and exuded an ancient aura. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 373. Life Dao Tablet Condensed Spirit Bead Dao Tablet. This is a Dao tablet. Looking at the mysterious tablet in front of him, Yi Feng immediately felt the Dao intent it emitted. To be precise, this is a Life Dao tablet containing the Dao intent of life. The Chaos Divine Beast stared at the 3-meter-tall, mysterious Dao steel and continued. However, this Dao steel of life is without an owner. If you want to comprehend the Dao meaning of life it contains, you must first obtain its approval. Life Dao Tablet. Yi Feng's eyes lit up and said, "Chaos, senior sister, wait for me here. I'll go take a look." As he spoke, Yi Feng slowly walked toward the Life Dao Tablet. When he walked under the Life Dao Tablet, a large amount of white light suddenly poured out from the Life Dao Tablet. The ancient runes on the surface of the Dao Tablet seemed to come alive, releasing a white light that was more dazzling than the sun, enveloping Yi Feng. A large amount of mysterious ancient runes were like a surging tide, crazily entering Yi Feng's body. In the blink of an eye, Yi Feng's strong body splashed out a large amount of blood. A large amount of blood flowed out of his body uncontrollably, dyeing him into a bloody man. What happened to Feng? Fu Yue saw Yi Feng become a bloody man in the blink of an eye, and her heart tightened as she nervously asked, "Don't be nervous. He is undergoing the test of the Life Dao Tablet. Only by passing the test can he comprehend the Dao intent of life." The knowledgeable Chaos Divine Beast comforted her. "What if he can't pass the test?" Fu Yue asked with a face of worry. He's so perverted." "Perverted, it shouldn't be." Thinking of the consequences of failure, the Chaos Divine Beast suddenly became worried. But when the Chaos Divine Beast thought of the Chaos Divine wood that was parasitic in his heart meridians, his worried heart calmed down. With the terror of the Chaos Divine wood, a mere Life Dao tablet would not be able to harm his life. The flesh and blood of Yi Feng's entire body exploded. The meridians in his body began to break as well. His well-tempered bones were now filled with cracks. His two arms hung limply as his entire body collapsed onto the ground. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng's entire body was covered in blood and flesh. It was as if his entire body had been crushed by gravity. Yi Qinfeng's physical body was severely injured, but his flames of life were burning brighter and brighter. The god-devouring brain's deduction speed was getting faster and faster, and it was accelerating the comprehension of the life Tao steel into the life Tao pattern in his body. The Tao will of life is indeed very mysterious. His physical body was damaged beyond recognition by the life Tao pattern, but Yi Qinfeng's mind was extremely clear. Through the God-Eater brain's deduction of the life Tao intent, he could feel the profundity of the life Tao intent more and more, and he was completely immersed in the process of comprehension. Slowly, Yi Qinfeng's mangled body began to heal at an astonishing speed. His broken meridians and bones also began to heal. All right, don't worry. I've already told you he's a freak. A mere life Tao steel isn't a threat to his life. When the Chaos Divine Bee saw that Yi Qinfeng had basically passed the test of the life Tao steel, he was relieved and spoke slowly. Days passed by, and Yi Qinfeng sat cross-legged under the 3-meter-tall life Tao steel. He was immersed in comprehending the life Tao intent. As time passed, his comprehension of the life Tao intent grew deeper and deeper, and he slowly grasped the first life Tao pattern. Not long after he comprehended the first life Tao pattern, the god-devouring brain, which was rapidly deducing, quickly comprehended the second and third life Tao pattern. Just as Yi Qinfeng spent 12 days to comprehend the ninth Tao pattern of life, cracks suddenly appeared on the 3-meter-tall Tao steel of life, which had dim and lusterless ancient patterns on it. In the blink of an eye, the life Tao steel that contained the life Tao intent shattered and turned into white Tao intent runes. They surged into Yi Qinfeng's body like rivers flowing into the sea. The incomparably vast energy directly opened up Yi Qinfeng's body, causing his body to be filled with cracks. A large amount of blood once again seeped out. F***CK. Could this life Tao steel have been tampered with? Otherwise, such an unforeseen event wouldn't have occurred. Looking at Yi Qinfeng's body that was forcefully opened up like a balloon, the Chaos Divine Beast immediately sensed that something was wrong. Chaos, do you have a way to help Qinfeng? Looking at Yi Qinfeng's pained appearance and his body that could explode at any time, Fu Yue's heart clenched and she nervously asked. There's no way. He can only rely on himself. The Chaos Divine Beast shook his head and said, Damn it, what kind of power is this? Feeling that the life Tao steel had shattered and the energy that surged into his body had exceeded the limits of his body, Yi Qinfeng was burning with anxiety. He quickly thought of a way. If it weren't for the Chaos Divine with suppressing his body would have already exploded from the sudden impact of such a terrifying energy. Yi Qinfeng constantly controlled the Chaos Divine would to suppress the energy. However, as the life Tao steel shattered, more and more energy entered his body. If he couldn't find another way to contain it, his body would explode sooner or later. That's right, the 9 transformations, divine transformation. Perhaps I can refine this vast energy into the Shunmin acupoint and condense it into a spirit pearl. As he thought about it, Yi Qinfeng's mind flashed as he thought of the 9 transformations, divine transformation. The power of Ling Tian, divine transformation. Spirit pearl. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and quickly activated the 9 transformations, divine transformation. According to a very special method of condensing energy, he forcefully condensed the surging energy in his body into the Shunmin acupoint on his arm and condensed the first spirit pearl. Under the 9 transformations, divine transformation circulation, the boundless energy in Yi Qinfeng's body seemed to have found a vent. It crazily surged into the Shunmin acupoint and quickly condensed a spirit pearl. Soon, Yi Qinfeng's body that had been opened up returned to normal. The crisis was resolved. Damn, just how many secrets is he hiding? The chaos divine beast felt that Yi Chunfeng was like a bottomless pit. It couldn't figure out how deep he was, and no danger could stop him. The 9 transformations' divine transformation required a vast amount of energy, and the energy released by the Life Tao steel just happened to provide a sufficient source of energy. As a large amount of energy surged into the Shunmin acupoint, a pearl-sized, sparkling, and translucent pearl that contained extremely powerful spirit energy slowly condensed. Yi Chunfeng's strength was also rapidly increasing. 1. 8 million gene of strength, 2 million gene of strength 2. 8 million gene of strength, when Yi Chunfeng's physical strength reached an astonishing 1. 5 million gene of strength, the first spirit pearl condensed in the Shunmin acupoint. Yi Chunfeng's physical body had broken the shackles of ordinary martial artists and became a half-spirit body. God-Eater Brain, devour the Life Tao pattern shards. The energy released by the Life Tao steel had disappeared. Yi Chunfeng discovered that a large amount of Tao pattern shards had appeared in his body, and he immediately controlled the God-Eater Brain to devour them. When all the Life Tao pattern shards in Yi Chunfeng's body were devoured by the God-Eater Brain, the 10th Life Tao pattern appeared in the God-Eater Brain. Success. The Life Tao intent is at the first level of heaven. After comprehending the 10th Life Tao pattern, Yi Chunfeng had successfully comprehended the Life Tao intent to the first level of heaven. Before the age of 25, he had comprehended 3 great Tao intents and even comprehended them to the first level of heaven. Yi Chunfeng had created a miracle that had never happened in the dueling soul continent before. In addition to the 1.5 million gene of strength, Yi Chunfeng felt that he could completely suppress a grade 4 Defiant Beast King expert. Just as Yi Chunfeng was immersed in the joy of the increase in strength, an extremely penetrating dragon roar suddenly echoed from the depths of the extreme of life. A flood dragon that was over 300 meters long, covered in thick dragon scales, and had a single horn flew over. Its terrifying aura locked onto Yi Chunfeng. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.